All right, all right, all right. Once again, welcome to Afrique 24 and nadhani mko salama popote pale mlipo. And kama kawaida, hii ni ile show yetu ile kali kabisa, ile tunaitaga weekly recap here on Afrique 24. And joining me kama kawaida is my good friend mtamjua kwa wale wamjui, mtamjua hapa. A lot has been happening in the political scene in Kenya, and kama kawaida we are always here. And very good morning in Kenya, and good morning in diaspora, and good night in some parts of America. Now, welcome to Afrique Weekly Recap. I am your host, Mzalendo, and today we are looking at what has happened throughout the week. A lot. I know you on the comment section, you will be telling us what you think about the politics that is happening in our country. This is a political show, and we also have some humorous stories that are happening. You saw that crazy wedding that happened in Kenya. We'll talk about that too, so that tujue ni wapi tumepotea. I am your host kama kawaida Mzalendo, and tonight we unpack the silent handshake that people are talking about. Uhuru Kenyatta was in Statehouse with William Samoei Ruto. Ben will tell us what was really happening there. Did they whisper that there could be an handshake between Ruto and Uhuru? We don't know. Here we try to unpack everything that is happening in the politics. Is it a reinvention? Is it a political reinvention? Or I don't know. Raila Odinga was also there. We understand that there are some rumors also that Kalonzo might be having some talks with the government. And joining me on the hot seat, and he speaks his mind and steers the pot. And always, brother Ben, karibu sana to Afrique 24.
Okay, asante sana Mzalendo kwa kunipatia nafasi ili tukuje uh, tupige gunzo ama tukuwe na kikao asubuhi ya leo. Pia nataka kuchukua nafasi hii kusalimia wale ambao wanatutazama popote walipo na wakaribisha katika kipindi cha asubuhi.
Asante sana brother Ben. Umekosa kusalimia Gypsy Kona pale. Our number one listener hapa Afrika anaitwa Gypsy Kona.
Hebu acha niweke hapa comment section. Okay, yuko hapa. Okay, asante sana Gypsy.
Umekosa
Asante sana,
kusalimia
nimekuona sasa.
Gypsy.
Karibu.
Mawaidha ya Gypsy Kona most of the time inakuwa ya busara kabisa, lakini hiyo jina Gypsy ni gypsum ama ni gypsy ama I don't know, maybe atuambie hiyo gypsy ni
Unajua saa zingine unaweza pata kwamba kama hauko sawasawa kidogo, unaweza pata unauma ulimi kwa sababu kuitamsha, yani saa zingine inakuwa si rahisi vile.
Haya, viewers, umesikia bana. Sasa hizi tunataka kupika show kali sana leo na Ben natarajia uko tayari bana. Let's cook it. Let's begin with the silent State House meeting between Uhuru and Ruto face to face. No press, no leaks until now. What did these guys talk about?
No, that was official visit, especially between the SADC and East Africa. These are the conflict in Congo, and you know that Uhuru is one of the officials who were there. So this was official, but also, as you know, you cannot outrule the politics, especially President William Ruto. because this is the first time that the former President Uhuru Kenyatta, was coming to State House since he left office. And if you look at it historically, the relationship between Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and President William Ruto has not been, um, let's say, like, it has not been so good, especially when you look at the former president and the current president. Remember, there was a time uh, President William Ruto went and visit former President his home in Shaweri, so, and the political undertone in it. So I think this was opportunity even for President William Ruto maybe to brief the former president on the state of the nation. I saw also he was taking him around to show him the new state house that is renovated. He was telling you, you did not do a good job and now have done a good job. So there's so many things that might have taken place, but we cannot rule out politics of Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Uh, so I think there could be a possible handshake between the two. You remember how Uhuru Kenyatta was not seeing eye to eye towards the his last days in office, and he
Hmm.
warned Kenyans about about William Ruto. Uh, why a shift of his talking point? Is no longer afraid of this regime, and is ready to like engage them even further. I also understand that Raila Odinga was in that meeting. Is it true? Can you confirm that he was also present?
I don't think he was in the meeting, but I think he might have come later because
Mhm.
that was the meeting that uh, 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 I saw his photos and in the State House, but I'm not very sure whether he attended the meeting. But now, when you talk about President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta or the other, you could even see the body language. And something with Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is that he's somebody who in his life he has enjoyed power. He was born in power, so I don't think like there is something that you could say that he would need, bearing in mind on how sometimes even the allies of the president have always attacked him. Remember, it was just I think it's like 5 days ago when the speaker of the National Assembly was actually called out on president. So I don't think like there is something that I would say that happened in terms of politically that might change his mind the way he has always been. And another thing is that Uhuru is a statesman, is the former president. So if he's called upon, he cannot decline or have a conversation with the president.
You see what I see in that meeting is that you might not see the politics, but I see a lot of politics in that, and a lot of interest in the leadership that is in the country at the moment. Remember, this Uhuru Kenyatta's family is a business family, and the people of Mount Kenya. There's been a lot of going on between William Ruto and the people of Mount Kenya. Uhuru Kenyatta is still seen as the kingpin for Mount Kenya region. So when you see him in State House, for me, I feel that he just didn't go there in person. It is Mount Kenya going to see William Samoei Ruto. That's how I look at it.
No,
Mount Kenya going to see William Ruto. Mm.
no, I tend to disagree with you on that because uh, the main reason why former president, went to the State House, and Gypsy Corner also is confirming that to me through the comment section. It was for a peace deal, a peace meeting that he has always been. If you were saying it was about the issue of Mount Kenya politics, then he could have. How many times have we had these rumors that they need assistance of the president? You know.
You know. I always say that William Ruto is a schemer, and for me, just the way he has neutralized Raila Odinga, he could be on his way to neutralize Uhuru Kenyatta, one who was perceived to be his enemy. That is how I look at the politics. Apart from the diplomacy that was in that particular office, William Ruto uh, shaking hands with Uhuru Kenyatta is a sign of that. We want truth. We want to move ahead with this country. Uh, it is not like it's not just your other usual meeting. That is meeting was so unusual. Yeah, and it
Mhm.
was behind closed doors, no camera, no nothing. Whatever they discussed, ni hao wawili tu ndio wanajua. So anyway, that is how I look at it. You viewers at home there, pia mi niambieni vile mnafikiria kama kuna kasiasa pale ndani kuna kafiche siasa
Mhm.
pale ndani. Naona Mise LM asking for hey, wakili umepotea sana, Uwakire umepotea sana, tukupatia link na ukuja hapa utupatie substance eh,
Mhm.
yeah. So
So
unaonaje ndugu?
mimi kwangu sioni kama labda tu kama Rais William Ruto alipata nafasi kumwelezea labda tu kwa kwa ufupi tu, labda changamoto labda anapitia, labda kama anaweza taka usaidizi ama rais anaweza msaidia kivipi, maybe atoe wazo lake ama amshauri
Mm.
kama aliyekuwa rais, unaona. Lakini sidhani kama kulikuwa na jambo kubwa ambalo tunaweza sema kwamba ati mambo ya siasa labda siamini hiyo, siamini. Mi nadhani tu alienda pale kama tu mtu ambaye ni anaangalia amani katika hizo nchi za DRC.
Aha.
Yeah.
Anyway, tutawachia wale jamaa pale nyumbani watatuambia what do you think about the Uhuru Ruto meeting? What do you think about it? Leave a comment there on our page on Afrique 24 and Brother Ben Media hapo, wache comment hapo kwa Mtembei pia. Unaweza acha comment, lakini ukipanda hapo Afrique we'll be able to see your comment. But make sure that even if you're watching us for the first time, make sure that you subscribe to this wonderful channel that we bring for you every other Friday, Saturday morning, a recap of the politics, how we look at it, and how you look at it is very, very important. Sometimes the views that are on this channel are implemented by this government. And of course, we are here just to discuss our country and see the best way we can have a country that is governed by the rule of law. And with me kama kawaida ni brother Ben and our special audience who are huko nyumbani, tunawashukuru sana kwa kujumuika na sisi. I'm seeing so many people there: Wafula, Atula, Fred, Peter Chelule, Tony Cruz. Asante sana Tony. Make sure that umesubscribe kwa Afrique 24. uh, uh, and naona Mise pia ameingia pale anataka link. Mise, karibu sana kwa Africa, and tuchambue hii wiki. A lot has happened this week in our politics, and you know, brother Ben, there's some peace in Kenya today. Is it attributed to Rigathi Gachagua's absence?
A peace in terms of political
Yeah,
or
yeah. Hakuna vishasha za siasa. What I'm seeing is that Kalonzo rebrand. Tell me about Kalonzo Musyoka rebranding his political party from Wiper Demo, what was it? Wiper Party to what did you call it?
I rebranded from Wiper Party to Wiper Patriotic Front.
To Wiper Patriotic Front. Uh,
Yeah.
why this craze of rebranding? Martha Karua has rebranded. Kalonzo pia rebrand. Is
Uh,
this a new look, or is this to attract people to come to the party? or is
Maybe.
there something new that they are offering?
Maybe I today when they were having presser, I did not see something new that they were offering, especially um, you know. But the issue of branding of political parties and changing of the names is not something that we say that it is new, especially in our political sphere. This is something that we've always seen, even with our coalitions. We change the names.
But do you think the reason why is rebranding is that, Kalonzo has been seen to be under Raila's shadow for a very long time. Is he like right now able to step out of Raila's shadow,
No, he has never been on Raila shadows.
or is he still waiting for Raila to endorse him?
No, I don't think that is true that or waiting for Raila to endorse him. It's just like the politics
Brother
of.
Ben, wacha kidogo tu hapo. You'll come to
Mm,
that.
mm.
Is it fair? Is it really fair for Raila not to endorse Kalonzo?
No, it's fair or also is not fair because
No,
when
no,
you.
no, lazima uchague moja. Si hawezi kuwa ati it's fair and it is not fair. I wanted to choose one. Is it fair for Raila Odinga not to endorse Kalonzo Musyoka?
That one I cannot answer because like you have to.
Especially now that Raila Odinga is not running in 2027.
First of all, you have to look at their are they do they share the same interest? That is something that you have to look in
No,
politics
no,
because.
these guys have always shared the same interest. The same interest is that sharing the same interest means that these guys have always want to form government, and they have never formed government. But one important thing is that
Mm.
Kalonzo has always supported Raila Odinga.
It is true. He has always supported Raila Odinga. That is something that is true and is known in the political landscape of our country, and that is a history. But something that also you have to understand that Raila has his own reservation. He can or he cannot, and what informs that is if their interests are merging. But if their interests are not merging, like right now, they are in two different camps. Yeah, how can you expect him to endorse him yet you are on another camp and the other camp?
Hii ni camp gani? Which camp are you talking about?
We are talking of a united opposition. Kalonzo is in the united opposition.
And Raila is where?
Raila is in the broad-based government.
Is he fully in the broad-based government?
He is because like the other day Sifuna read the resolution that was.
Sifuna reading that thing has been debunked that he was forced to read that
But
statement.
being the now that is observation from maybe the analyst.
Mm-hmm.
You might feel everybody has when that resolutions were read by Sifuna, each and every person made their comments based on what they saw on the screen. Yeah, nobody is very sure because like we were not in the neck meeting when they're having those resolution to say that Sifuna ameambiwa lazima usome. No, ni watu tu labda wanakuja wanasema labda wameona koti yake ingine labda ilikuwa imekujika hivyo, wanasema ati body language, lakini what is there, what was read is that they are in broad based.
Do you know? I can give you a statement to read,
Yeah,
and I will know that you are not part of that statement by the way you are reading it.
but remember, you are reading it, maybe you are not part of that statement, but that is the stand of the party.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So whether you like it or not, but that's what the party has decided and the official of the party have decided. So whether you like it or you don't like it, that is what the party has decided.
Do you think this guy Sufuna will last in ODM?
Um it's a 50-50.
Mm.
Yeah, but from.
I don't see a situation where Sifuna will work with William Samoei Ruto.
Yeah, because there are quite a number of members of parliament who have decided, especially when you look at Caleb Amisi, who have come out publicly to say that he cannot work with the president. We have also, no, he cannot support broad-based government, and he cannot work with the president. We have also the senator for Nyamira, Okongo, Honorable Okongo Mogeni.
Yeah, there are many leaders from Kisi who have said that they are not going to work with ODM and William Ruto. These are people who are supporting ODM initially and Raila Odinga.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and there are also threats that you know, if you sack Sifuna, this is the repercussion. So also saw Aladwa who was condemning Sifuna the other day, now praising Sifuna once again. So where is this politics going?
Politics is all about interest. Provided that your interests are catered for, then you will have to uh, support where your interests are. And if you are very keen, especially to look at those who are very vocal, especially supporting the president or the broad-based government, there are few who have come out in public, or the few that we know that are very, very much vocal supporting the broad-based government. And also there are those who are not for broad-based government, talking of Babu Owino and Caleb Amisi. And Sifuna also came out saying that he's not supporting the broad-based government. So it is their choice, and there's also a party stand. So for those, even if you don't want or you want, but what party has decided, that is what will carry the day.
Yeah, we have seen members of the Luo community, MPs from Nyanza, really condemning Sifuna. They are the ones who have really come out to condemn Sifuna. I don't know why it is one-sided. That one region is the one that is condemning Sifuna a lot. I've not seen condemnation coming from other parts of the country. Uh, or do you think that other people are condemning Sifuna the way MPs from Nyanza are condemning Sifuna?
Remember when they had delegates? Was it in Kakamega?
Mm.
You know, where the chairperson of the party was not. She did not attend that, but the following day, I think there was a women empowerment in Migori County, somewhere in Nyatike,
Mm.
where she went, and that's where everybody now was attacking Sifuna. And
Yeah, well, there was this lady called Fatuma. She's called Fatuma Full Network.
yeah,
What is this
the the the,
craziness about?
the women rep for Migori County,
Mm-hmm.
where he was cautioning Sifuna not to dare step in Nyatike or Migori County because of the stand that Sifuna has taken.
Oh, now, Ben,
Mhm.
this is now why Raila needs to put his house in order. These are members of ODM
Yeah.
going out at each other in public. Yeah, and they are not going for any other ordinary person. They are going for the secretary general of the party. And the
Hmm.
previous day, Baba endorsed Sifuna's statement. Then the next day, uh, these voices, the voices of Gladys Wanga, Junet, and everybody else, who are going contrary to what was said in Siaya, in Kakamega. Why do you think there's a double speak here, or we are missing something?
No, I think if maybe you look at it in terms of the party of ODM, they might say that they've opened democracy space whereby each and every person has the right to comment on the issues or issues that are trending, or issues or challenges that party is going through. Remember, even the brother to Raila, Honorable Oburu also say that I can also speak because I have also my right to do what?
Even
To speak.
Gaucho said that hii chama ni ya Wajaluo, sio Wabukusu.
Lakini hizo tu ni siasa tu, siasa
No,
tu.
but sasa unaona ha-
But
I think Baba needs to tame his soldiers. To
but unajua
soldiers.
kitu lazima uelewe ni kwamba ni jambo ambalo tumesema hapa kwa mara mingi na hata sitoi kurudia. Hizi vyama ambao unaona hizi vyama tuko nazo hizi vyama ni binafsi. Hizi ni hivi vyama ni binafsi, ni za watu binafsi, kwa sababu ukisikia hata ile neno anaitwa nani huyu mbunge wa Alego Usonga, anaitwa Honorable Atandi, Mheshimiwa Atandi.
Matandi.
Atandi alisema jambo lingine kwamba hii chama wamewekeza mali mingi, na wanasema kwamba labda kelele moja iwezi fanya chama labda isambaratike. Kama ni hivyo, wewe utafanya nini? Sasa unapata kwamba hizi vyama ambao sisi tuko nazo ama hizi vyama ambao zipo ni za watu binafsi. Na unapata kwamba mara mingi kauli ambao hizi vyama vinachukua ama uamuzi ambao zinachukuliwa kwa hizi vyama ni za watu binafsi, ambao wale ambao walikuwa waanzilishi ama mwanzilishi wa chama. Kwa sababu kumbuka, ukisoma yale mambo yalitokea katika yale Sifuna alisoma, unapata kwamba zile maneno ambayo baba alikuwa amesema, unapata kwamba zilikubalika pale, kama ile kukuwa na ile the dialogue conclave ilikuwa pale talking about appointing some committee to evaluate the 10-point agenda. Hizo ni vitu baba alisema wakati alikuwa na mahojiano, lakini unapata kwamba zimepata nafasi kukua kama hoja ambazo zilisomwa pale.
Enyewe unaona, the internal wars, we can't ignore that the internal wars in ODM are evident. Kama juzi there was a function ya broad based, hao wako kwa broad based. Kuna empowerment ilikuwa imefanywa pale Mbiwa na mbunge Martin Owino, but missing was the governor for Homa Bay and those allied to the MCAs that are supporting Gladys Wanga. They didn't attend that function. So this tells you that there's a lot of infighting and internal wars in ODM, and Sifuna is not fighting alone. Sifuna, there are so many other fights that are going on in ODM that nobody is talking about, but they are evident because they are very vocal and very, very dramatic.
Unajua, zinaweza kuwa ni mbili. Kuna kwa sababu ukiangalia kwa ukubwa, kuna wale ambao wanasema kwamba sisi tuko ile upande wa salamu za heri, tunaunga mkono serikali na kuna wale ambao wanasema hatuungi mkono serikali na sera zake, ama salamu za heri, serikali za salamu za heri. Na pia hapo ndani pia utapata kuna wale pia wanapigana wenyewe kwa wenyewe kulingana na labda nyadhifa tu za chama. Tuseme kwamba tuseme ndio wewe unasema kwamba governor hakukuepo. Ukiangalia kwa undani utapata kwamba ile ya vya chama tu, labda mtu anataka kugombea fulani, mtu anataka kugombea ubabe katikati yao. So labda tunaweza sema kwamba zilikuwa vita mbili, kwa sababu hata ukiona I don't know whether you saw that video where Her Excellency the governor for Homa Bay was lecturing one of the county members
juu ya maendeleo wewe huo mama, wajua nini hapa Afrika tunawakosoa wewe wakati wa Banawiti tulikuwa tunaweza ona maendeleo kwa yani tulikuwa tunaweza ona pesa zile amewekeza kwa miradi zake. Huyu gavana hakuna, kwa mtandao ukienda kwa website ya county hakuna pesa imewekwa mahali. Kuna ma projects anazimention, lakini hakuna hela anaziwekea pale ndio watu waweze kuscrutinize. She is not open, and most of the transactions zile zinafanyika pale kwa county, they are hidden with a lot of secrecy and
So,
mhm.
So unajua mimi pale nilikuwa naona kama kuna maendeleo. Ukiangalia alikuwa anasomea huyu wakilishi wodi, alikuwa anasomea ule wakilishi wodi kwamba lazima like this is what she was saying. She was saying you have to go to those barazas, you have to go to those funerals, you have to go to those gatherings and let the people know that there's a development.
Yeah, because you know why she's doing that?
Yeah.
Because the people are saying that in Homa Bay, the projects which are in Homa Bay are done by the government under the supervision of POS Raymond Omolo.
But even
Akiulizwa kuna factory pale inaitwa Kigoto huko, ile alizindua hiyo. Saizi ukienda ukiangalia utalia machozi. Utalia machozi
ile ya mahindi,
ile mahindi ukienda pale, hata gate sijui hata ilianguka kitambo, utalia machozi.
Sasa unaona pale ambapo mimi sasa sioni kama namuunga mkono, kwa sababu kama unafanya maendeleo itaonekana. Si lazima mwakilishi wodi akuje ama aende kwa baraza.
Wewe sema tulifanya hii.
Kama kuna barabara ipo, kama kuna labda maji ambayo umeletea wananchi ipo, kama kuna soko umejenga ipo, kama kuna chochote ambacho utafanya kitaonekana wazi kwa wazi. So mi naona kwamba wakilishi wodi haezi enda kwa matanga, labda tumeenda kwa matanga saa zile tumeenda kuombeleza, ndo nasema kwamba tumefanya hichi na hichi na hichi. Najua hapo kama umefanya itaonekana.
Haya, acha tusikize mtoto wa Nzambe. Mtoto wa Nzambe, sijui unatoka kule Kongo ama ni wapi? Hiyo jina inakaa kama ya Wakongolese. Mtoto wa Zambe, hebu moto wa Zambe.
Nimetoka kule Kinshasa.
Sasa unajua ungetoka pale sasa, Kiswahili ambacho unazungumzia ingekuwa ya tofauti sana. Sasa ungekuwa unaongeza batoto
mimi batoto bapratone.
Haya, hebu tusalimie na utuambie uko wapi mtoto.
Good morning. Mzalendo ni yeye Vika, ajui ni nani.
Wewe nikisikia sauti najua wewe ni nani bwana, lakini najua wewe ni nani lakini unajua kwa watazamaji wetu wale wanatutazama kwa mara ya kwanza wakujui.
Mimi naitwa Joseph.
Yeah, lakini jina yako ya utani ni Moto wa Nzambe.
Moto wa Zambe.
Hebu waelezee wasikilizaji, hii Moto wa Zambe ulitoa wapi? Unaamka tu siku moja unajiita moto ama ni nini?
Zambe, najua Bwana Benson anaweza kuambia Zambe inamaanisha nini. Bwana Benson, Zambe inamaanisha nini?
Siwezi kuwa na ufahamu mkubwa, but nadhani ni mambo ikielekea mambo ya Mungu hapo.
Yeah, moto wa Mungu.
Mungu.
Haya, moto wa Mungu bwana.
Good morning, you guys.
Yeah.
Good morning, mkoaje?
Nini sasa
tulipata mkiongea kuhusu factory fulani inaitwa jina aje? Nimesikia jina fani inaitwa aje?
Tunaongea tu utendekazi wa hao viongozi wetu wa counties, the governors. Kuna wale wamezembea sana kama huyu Bi Gladys Wanga. Unaona William Ruto amekuwa akileta development mingi sana kule sehemu za Homa Bay, and yeye kama gavana hakuna maendeleo yote inaonekana pale amefanya. So wananchi wanalalamika aonyeshe mradi zake ni gani zile amezindua. Basi pale kuna shida kisiasa na juu ya utendakazi wake, na si yeye peke yake, ni magavana wengi sana wanapata hizi hundi mingi za hela, lakini hawawezi onyesha kile wanafanyia kazi. Unapata wako na wafanyikazi wengi wale wanalipa mshahara, kama kule nasikia kuko na ati gavana ako na advisors 20.
Anataka kujifananisha na Ruto.
Ati gavana ako na advisors, ati gavana ana advisors 20 advisors.
Hata utapata hata labda hakuna hao advisors, ni pesa tu
Mimi
wanaweka.
nakwambia wameandikwa na wanakula mshahara, na si ati wanakula mshahara ati kidogo. Wanakula
Wanasema
mshahara nono.
hata wengine wanawekaga tu ghost workers, wanasema wako na advisors lakini ghost wako.
Unasikia mtu ule anasimamia stage ya matatu anaitwa director. Akishapatiwa hiyo cheo ya director, salary inaenda juu.
Na bado kuko na CCs, usisahau kuna ministers wale
kuna CC wa trade, kuna CC sijua.
So what I wanted to say, magavana, we did wrong. The constitution did wrong. Wakati tulipatia governors uhuru wa kutumia hii pesa, lazima tungewapatia auditor. Kila county ingekuwa na auditor. Na mtu ambaye controller of budget ambaye angekuwa ni yeye wa authorize pesa ikitoka. Kwa sababu saa hizi hakunaga mtu anaweza authorize pesa ikitoka kwa county. Governor akisema ni hivyo ni hivyo. Akisema tutatumia hii pesa, hata ma MCA wachana nao. Unajua ma MCA hata wakitengeneza budget ikienda pale au watapewa kitu kidogo kidogo. MCA ukimpatia milioni moja ama mbili si hivyo, si amenyamaza. Atakuwa amenyamaza. Sasa wewe utaenda ufanye deal yako ya kucheza nini? Ya kucheza billions of shillings kule juu. So I think governors that hiyo kiti imeoverhypiwa na inafaa ikatwe miguu. Inafaa ikatwe hiyo makucha iko nayo. It has overreach. Iko na overreach kubwa sana. Na wakiitwa mpaka Senate tunaona vile wanaongea. I think you have seen the governors in Senate when people are trying to oversight them. You see them they want to wanataka kujijibu vile wanataka. It's like wanasikia tu they are over the moon. Tunaweza waambia kile mnataka kusikia, ama mtukisikia hata tunaweza toka na tunaweza kosa ukuja. So I think the mistake we did was very huge. We could have had one controller of budget in every county who would not be attached paso ati ameandikwa kutoka hiyo county. They could have gotten a person from outside the county so that he could be able to edit the books well.
All right.
I mean, I'm seeing Mise Lem, Mise karibu sana Afrika. A long time, my brother. You've been away. Utuambie umekuwa ukiwapi?
Asante. Mzuri sana kuona brother Benson.
Thank you.
Pia Nick, ni kweli, kwa kweli ni muda sana tujakutana pamoja na ndugu yangu Nzambe, moto wa Nzambe. Nafikiri nakubaliana naye moto wa Nzambe kwamba tunahitaji external auditors ambao si wale wa kuongwa kwa urahisi ama wenye wamekuwa na uzoefu mkubwa katika eneo moja. Kwa hivyo, kwa mfano, napenda kuiga mambo ambayo ya uhamiaji, kwa mfano huku hivi kwingineko tunapokaa. Kwa mfano mambo ya uhamiaji, unapata kwamba kadi yako ya uhamiaji ama kitambulisho kina wewe unaishi state moja na kitambulisho chako kina processiwa ama kinashughulikiwa katika state ingine. Ile state ambayo wewe haumjui nani anayeishughulikia, ila tu unajua ukiangalia kwa mtandao unaona kazi inaendelea. Haswa inapunguza mambo ya ufisadi. So kwa hivyo mimi nakubaliana naye kwamba ni wakati ambapo umefika, tunafaa kubadilisha jinsi tunavyofanya kazi. Na kwingineko pia nilikuwa nakubaliana nawe kinyume na maoni ya ndugu Benson kwamba ule mkutano wa rais katika Ikulu ya kwa kweli ni mkutano wa kipekee hivi kwamba kama angelitaka ushauri aliye rais wa sasa kutoka kwa rais wa zamani, kwa kweli angechukua hata simu akampigia na akapata ushauri bila rais huyu kuelekea moja kwa moja katika Ikulu. Lakini vile pia aliangazia kidogo kwamba mambo ya siasa huenda ikawa ni vigumu sisi kuyaelewa kwa wakati mwingine, maana hakuna maadui ambao ni wa sijui katika lugha ya Kiswahili tunahitaji permanent, lakini hakuna maadui na marafiki katika siasa ambao ni marafiki wa kufahana. Wakati unapohitajika unakuwa wa muhimu, na wakati hivi kwamba uhitajiki unafutwa na kalamu ya mate. Vile Gachagua alifutwa na kalamu ya mate. Kwa hivyo lakini kuenda kwa rais ambaye ameonekana kwa kutokubaliana sana ama mpigia debe rais huyu aliyekuweko, kuonekana kwake hivi leo kwenda pale Ikulu inaonyesha kwamba kuna mambo fulani vile ulivyokuwa unadadizia kwamba rais wa zamani ni mfanyi biashara, na huenda ikawa pia kuna deal zingine alizozifanya wakati ule walipokuwa kwa ofisi, na hivyo angependa kufuatilia, pengine kumelipuka mahali, pengine kumekuwa kitu moja ama pale. Kwa hivyo kwenda pale, kwa mfano jambo moja ni kama SGR. Unavyojua SGR imepita kwa shamba ya rais wa zamani kwa kilomita mingi sana, na kwa kawaida inatakikana mtu project kama hiyo ikipita kwa shamba yako, tunafanya ile kitu inaitwa compulsory land acquisition, ambapo labda serikali inakulipa nawe unarudisha ile ardhi inaitwaje, cheti ama title deed. Bwana brother Benson, inaitwaje? Wewe ndio Mswahili.
Sijui, lakini naweza kuwa na cheti cha ardhi, hati miliki.
Yes. Sasa unarudisha, lakini hatuoni kwamba katika zile kilomita mingi ambazo zimepita kwa shamba ya rais, hatuna uhakika kama yeye alirudisha cheti cha ardhi kwa wizara ya ardhi. Kwa hivyo mambo ni mengi, kama mwenye mfanyi biashara huwezi ukapuuza tu. Kwa hivyo nilikuwa nakubaliana na wewe bwana mzalendo kwamba kuna zaidi ya yale tunavyoona, na ni kwa kweli Benson, kwa upande mwingine rais mstaafu ambaye ni Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta amehusika na mambo ya kule Kongo, na katika kuleta amani ama katika kuweka mikakati ambayo rejesha amani pale. Kwa hivyo pia hatuwezi tukapuuza kwamba ama kuegemea lengo moja ama wazo moja kwamba alienda pale kwa jambo moja na tuache mengine nje. Kwa hivyo kuna uwezekano haya yote tumeyajadiliana, huenda ikawa pia alienda kujadiliana hayo, lakini zaidi ya yote ni vizuri kuona viongozi wa nchi kuja pamoja kwa minajili ya uwiano na amani ya nchi, hivi kwamba kama kuenda ama kuwasiliana kwa rais wa zamani na rais wa sasa ndio itakayoleta amani na kunawili kwa uchumi nchini Kenya, basi iwe hivyo na sisi tutaunga mkono. Asante.
Mzalendo, kabla hujaingia, labda kama hujakuwa na labda jambo labda unaweza sema kwa ndugu yangu. Unajua kitu ambacho naweza sema kwamba siasa, kwa sababu hawa unajua ni watu ambao maisha yao yote siasa imekuwa ni kazi yao, na huwezi sema kwamba wakikutana watakuwa tu nasema kujadili kuleta ile amani katika ile nchi ya Kongo bila kujadili swala la siasa la nyumbani. Lakini unajua ukiangalia historia tangu rais atoke Ikulu ama tangu patie rais wa sasa mamlaka, uhusiano wao ijakuwa ile uhusiano mzuri sana sana. Ukiangalia kwa wale ambao wafuasi sugu wa rais wa sasa, kuna maneno wanatamka ama walikuwa wanatamka ambapo haikukuwa inaendana vizuri na rais wa ambao alikuwa alistaafu. Unapata kwamba hata wandani wake walikuwa wanasema hayo maneno si mazuri sana. So hatuwezi sema kwamba mambo la siasa likukuwepo, lakini ikifika hapo pale pa biashara, kwa sababu hawa watu ni watu ambao ni wa mama moja wa siasa, kama biashara wanaweza ifanya pembeni bila hata sisi kujua, kwa sababu wanapigiana simu. Kwa sababu unapata, kwa mfano, unapata kwamba wakienda katika uchaguzi, unapata kwamba baada ya tuseme kwamba tushapata zile result, unapata kwamba wasiposikilizana wanaenda kotini. Lakini wakati ambapo wanasema kwamba sasa nchi nataka tukue na amani, hawaendi kotini, wanasema wacha tukae chini tuongee. So mimi nakubaliana na yale yote ambayo umesema, lakini sidhani kama siasa ndilikuwa imechukua kipaumbele sana. Hii ilikuwa ni mkutano rasmi ambao ilikuwa na jambo lake.
Yote ukiangalia siasa pale tunaelekea ni Uhuru Kenyatta ni mfanyabiashara na familia yake pia wamemiliki biashara mingi. Hii Kenya is controlled by how many families? The Moi family, the Kenyatta family, Raila Odinga's family, and now William Ruto's family. Those are the people who are owning the country. Hao ndio wako na mali kushinda watu wengi kule Kenya. So hawangependa nchi iharibike kwa vyovyote vile. So they have to do everything possible kuhakikisha kuna amani katika Kenya kwa sababu ya biashara ile wako nayo na interest ile wako nayo katika nchi, na pia isitoshe Wakenya wengi pia hawangependa nchi tukose amani katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Tukizingatia hayo yote, siasa lazima watu waongee. Kuna wale wa 10 bila break kama Justin Roronya anasema 10 bila break. Justin, njoo hapo tuambie hii 10 bila break, tuambie ni kwa nini tunaenda 10 bila break, na hiyo break ikipigwa mtafanya nini? Mtabaki mnaangaliana tulikosea wapi. But mimi ile swali nilikuwa ninauliza wakati wa Uhuru na Ruto kulikuwa na chaos, manufactured chaos. Mimi naziita manufactured chaos. Mimi ukiniuliza ni nini, kwa nini Ruto na Uhuru hawakusikizana, walikuwa walikosana, mimi hata siwezi kukujibu. Na watu wengi hapa, hata nikuuliza hiyo swali hapa, nyinyi wote mniambie ni kwa nini Uhuru na Ruto walikosana, mtaanza kuniambia mambo mengine yani hata haina mwelekeo. But hii mambo ni siasa, ni siasa ya ndani kabisa. Na kwa nini nasema hivi bwana Mise ama bwana Moto wa Nzamba, hii chaos kati ya William Ruto na Gachagua na ile chaos ya Ruto na Uhuru, there is a similarity, there is a pattern going on. Mimi naambia there is a pattern going on, and that pattern, nyinyi nataka muniambie kama mnafikiria hii kitu iko manufactured by the state kukuwa na chaos juu. Hebu niambie ni dhambi gani Gachagua alifanya kubwa sana ilikera William Ruto mpaka kamfuta kazi? Hebu tuanze na Moto wa Nzambe ndio tukuje kwa brother Ben, then tumalizie na Mise kwa hiyo swali.
Hiyo swali ni rahisi sana brother Mzalendo.
Mm.
Oh, it's all about interest and all about money. Hakuna kitu kingine inafanyaga wanasiasa wanakosana, na hata si ukosana wanakosanaga, they just the business. Unaona, everybody want to do business with the government. That's why you see they pretend that wamekosana. Even Gachagua and Ruto walikosania tu hizo manini tenders. There is nothing else. Si ati kwani wanakosa kwani ati ni kama walipigana ama nini? No, it's all about nini hizi tenders and who is supposed to eat and who is not supposed to eat. And very definitely the president always has a say at that time. So hiyo wakati ya Uhuru alikuwa na say, na with a lot of say. That's why Ruto alikuwa anashika moto juu hakuwa anapata hizo tenders, akitaka hizo tenders ni kama Uhuru anamkwamia. Then wakati ya hii ingine sasa Ruto aliingia na Rigathi, na yeye pia amemfungia pahali pa kukulia hizo tenders. It's all about tendering. Ni hakuna kitu kingine. Hao watu wakuage wamekosana.
So hao
Hata
watu yani,
wanafanya
in short tunasema hao watu hawana interest ya nchi ya tatu, ni interest yao peke yao kwanza, ni interest ya
hakuna interest
mfuko
ya
yao.
mwananchi huko Mzalendo. Hakuna mtu anakuwa na interest yako at heart. Wote wako kwa biashara. Na hiyo biashara ni si unasikia vile wanafanya kazi nini biashara na serikali au individually. Unajua ifai kukua hivyo. Si uliona mpaka walileta conflict of interest bill. Hiyo yote hata wakileta hiyo conflict of interest bill ni upuzi tu. As long as wanataka kufanya biashara na serikali, there is nothing we are doing and nobody will have interest with you or me or any other person or Mise or Nelson.
Sawa, Moto
Hakuna
wa
mtu atakuwa
Nzambe,
na interest na
tutakurudia.
sisi.
Hebu tusikize kwa brother Ben. Brother Ben.
Mzalendo, I agree with what my brother was saying about interest. That is one of the reason could be. Another reason that I'm looking at how we form the coalitions. Because when we form coalitions with what how we are going to share everything, and when you form this coalition, the numerical power from your region will always speak for you. So if you kind of have the same numerical, something usually maybe comes in and say that we are all co-presidents. Kila mtu anataka kukua rais, or kila mtu anataka kukua. And that's why sometimes I usually say that when we look at this constitution, especially when it comes to the executive, there's something that is telling us, because why was it that the first presidency that we got under the 2010 constitution, something happened. Then when we came to the second administration under the same under the new constitution of 2010, we saw the disagreement between the president and the deputy. So there's something that this is telling, and we should interrogate. So it is interest. Two, it is the pre-pack and post-pack that we sign when we are going for election, So those are some of the things that I feel, those two things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good observation. Mise, What's
Yeah,
your take on this topic?
yeah, thank you. I think that is very critical. What Benson has said. If you look at the duties and responsibilities of the deputy president, uh, I think it's redundant. The deputy president, as per the constitution, should be assigned duties not by the president, but by the constitution that should spell out is their duties and responsibilities. When you look at the duties, they are very vague. It says the constitution says that the deputy president shall perform the duties of as I think it's Article 135 to 147, I think around there, in between there, which talks about the election of the deputy president and the president, duties and responsibilities. You find that first of all, the constitution says that the deputy president shall perform the duties of the president in the absence of the president, and it continues to say, and as may be assigned by the president, and as may be assigned by the president. You see now, the deputy president becomes, like he's at the mercy of the president. If the president is not absent, the deputy president is just there. If the president decides not to assign him any duties and responsibilities, the deputy president is just there. And therefore, that position becomes redundant. That is that, and when it becomes redundant, there is sense of there's an exaggerated sense of self-importance that resides in the presidency, especially where they feel that they have power to say and to do anything over the deputy president. And the moment that the presidents begin to view the deputy president like that, then and the deputy president reacts in the manner that is viewed by the president, despite the fact that they work together to come to their office, then that there begins to have to be a problem. Now, that is in regards to what happened to Gachagua. Now, on the other hand, what both of you said, Nzambe, Moto and Nzambe, and Brother Benson, yes, it is about interest, but on the other hand, it is also competing interests that I think Benson, you said that it's the competing interests of either tendering, of either who is smarter than the other, the fear of unknown in the next term, whether if I allow you to perform, or if I assign you duties now during the first term, maybe the second term you might outshine me, or you might be visible that coming the second term, you might be my competitor, and that will minimize my chances as the incumbent president to be re-elected. And therefore, by quashing you, it's either crashing you or working with you for in order to be re-elected. And I think those are some of the challenges that exist in terms of the interest of the nation. No politician right now in Kenya who has the interest of the nation. We have every politician is self-centered, and they are working hard to have their personal and self-interests fulfilled. And lastly, if you look at all the politicians, I wanted to say that Robert Greene 48 laws of power says that do not outshine your master. Okay, so Gachagua, as much as he pretended to be a brother to William Ruto, as much as he pretended to work and let William Ruto be the boss, William Ruto knew the ability and veracity of the ability of Gachagua in terms of articulation, in terms of strategy, and therefore he crushed his enemy before the day of the battle. So that's why Gachagua had to go, or else if he didn't go, William Ruto was to go.
Thank you so much, Mrs. There's something also that you mentioned about the duties being assigned to the deputy president by the president, and you could now see it how president is working with Kithure Kindiki, the deputy president, because when you look at the empowerment program that is taking place across the country, I don't think that is government, because like they tend to, from the look of things, this is their own money. They're just trying to empower people, you know. So, which means what Kindiki is doing is not like to say coming from the state, but is now like it's looking like you're doing a charity work, you know. And if you see the president going to on official, maybe launching any project, you rarely see the deputy president, you know, and that is quite much not, I could say that that is quite much different with what we've seen under 2010 constitution. Remember when President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and President William Ruto came to power, they went to these meetings, both of them. They're not missing putting on those good ties, the same the uniform they were in. And also the first 1 month or 2 months of Rigathi Gachagua and President William Ruto, they used to go to those projects together everywhere there too. But now with President and Kindiki is quite much different. So I think the strategy that President is using is different, because he has realized what happened between him and Rigathi Gachagua and what happened between him and Uhuru Kenyatta. So he's trying to create that path whereby this is the path that I'm going to do, or create that wall for himself that this is what I'm doing, this is what the deputy president is doing. So in his politics, and that one brings something that I say, like the popularity, yeah, because sometimes you can get a mileage when you are with the president and your deputy president. So president is also very careful about that. So that is also something that I think.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to point out, it's good you mentioned that, and you see Kindiki's personality is different from the other presidents, the president during Uhuru Muigai, and even the first deputy president of William Ruto. It'll go back to the president, the vice presidents that we had. Look at Kalonzo Musyoka. Look at Joseph Karanja. Look at the people like JJ Kamoto, right? When, or even Moi himself, when they served, they never equaled themselves with the principle. They were not core principles, you know, and this made them look stupid. I think if you remember the early times of Ridiculous were when they were playing JJ Kamodo. So they made him look like he was so stupid, but he survived because of that. And sometimes I've seen that when you come out to speak your mind, or even to show your abilities to provide leadership, or to provide solutions to the gaps that exist, then if your boss is not happy about it, you're not going to survive. And that's, and I like the way, Benson, that you put it, that William Ruto has decided that he's going to be the only one who's going to shine. You know,
Yep.
he is not going to launch a project here while Kindiki is going to launch another one. Otherwise, they're going to get equal credits. So, in order to shine, he's just going to make sure that he is the only one who is mentioned in terms of launching projects, and therefore the other one is the empowerment is an initiative that is actually there to drum support and popularity for, not for Kindiki, but again for William Ruto. So
The chief campaigner.
William Ruto is a mastermind of and a masterpiece of uh, creating a brand that is going to exist while is not creating a platform like Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta created a platform for him to go everywhere and launch things that did not even exist. He's conscious of that, and he doesn't want anyone to take credit, like you said.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you very much for that that section of Kindiki and empowerment. Well, what I wanted to ask also is that is this empowerment being felt on the ground? Or what is the response? Or how do you look at it? Is it something that is impacting the community? Is it something that will enable William Ruto to get votes in those areas? Because the essence of this empowerment is to generally to ensure that the people who are being empowered in those regions vote for President William Ruto. Is it like empowering the community, or it is bribing the community to vote?
Joseph might go.
Joseph?
To answer you, I don't think those empowerments are helping anybody because I think we should, the government should become serious and start tackling the issues that are affecting people. You saw some news that was broadcast by Citizen about how schools are faring in Tharaka Nithi. I think everybody saw the news. And if you see somebody still going and saying that he's still empowering people, and the schools in their background, they are even mud structures. They are made of mud, and you hear somebody saying that they are going to be empowering people, and I don't know, do what, build 23 schools, and in your backyard you're still having a hard time in building schools. I think that is a really big joke. And I think the government should start being serious. That is just one thing they need to do. Let them stop these side shows of we are coming to empower, we are coming to do what. If you want to empower people, there is the ministries that can do that work. Stop taking work from the ministries. When you come and tell us you're going to empower women, what will be the work of the Ministry of Gender? When you say you're coming to empower the youth, what is the work for the Ministry of Youth, Gender, Youth, and what have you? When you say you're coming to build 23 schools, what is the Ministry of Education doing? You know, we have created other institutions apart from the ones which are supposed to be running. And in this government, if you check well, you find that the ministries, you don't even know what they are doing. You know, before we could have known that the Ministry of Roads, you know what? That's why people say we need technocrats in these ministries. Because when we have seen them working, even if they did not work the best 100%, but we saw them working in Uhuru's government, and we saw ministry like Ministry of Road could not interfere with the Ministry of Interior, with the other ministries. But you find an Interior CS is going to launch a sports facility, a stadium, whereas we have the Ministry of Sports. So I don't know why we are duplicating this institution. So in terms of these empowerments, I don't know why we need them instead of channeling that money, if you have friends, as they come and tell us, we have friends who are giving us this money to do the empowerment. Why don't you tell them to channel the money to the ministries, the concerned ministry, so that they can be able to help the common people in the ground? And also, why are these empowerments not in the whole country? You find them, they are centered in places, in certain places, and not. Why have we not seen empowerment in, for, so let's say, Isiolo, in places like Garissa, in places like Turukana? Why are we not seeing these empowerments in those other places, and we are seeing them so more so in centered places? I think it's a fallacy, and the government needs to stop this nonsense and start working.
Wow, wow, wow. The government needs, you've got very strong words for the government of William Ruto. They need to style up and do something. You guys have not mentioned that there was, when Ruto was launching his manifesto, he had got some money that was being given to the youths. What was the name of that amount that was being given to in form of loans? That
This,
Youth
this,
fund, or you are saying which one? Youth fund?
no, it was called Hustler Fund.
yes, the Asla Fund now headed by Oparanya.
So,
Don't you guys think that is a duplication of the Asla Fund? And why is Oparanya not even involved in this empowerment?
let me just to me, this is what I would say about the empowerment that is going on.
Mm,
To me, the empowerment that is going on, it will not have significant, especially in terms of even in economy,
mm.
because you have to look at how many women group are we empowering, and what are these women doing? Yeah, because remember the other day you saw the ones that they were saying they got only 64 bob. What can what can 64 bob do? But that is just by the way. If you want the economy to thrive, there are few things that you have to put in place. One, you have to make sure that you create environment where those business that you are funding can thrive. But you see, you are funding or empowering these businesses, yet the taxes are not friendly. you know so when the taxes are not friendly, so which means the businesses will not do well, so which means those businesses will what, will die at some point. Then if you look at the production, are we really concentrating on the production? Because like you find that even the basic needs, we are importing the basic needs. There are point whereby you're importing the basic need, because the other time I was saying there was a gazette notice of that was allowing the importation of the rice.
Mm.
Yeah. So when you start to import basic needs, it means the cost of living is not going to go down. It will continue to rise because you are importing. Yeah. So we have to work on how we reduce the taxes, or we put the tax breaks for those businesses. Secondly, we have to look at how we can measure on production, because we are consuming but we're not producing more. Yeah. So even though if you bring all this money that, okay, we are doing empowerment, and the empowerment that you're doing, as my friend was saying, it's is selective. It's quite much selective. And if you're very keen enough, it is about empowering the women. Those are the only people that are being empowered.
Okay, okay.
So
Yes,
let me
yes.
also jump in there.
Hmm.
I think this is the most ridiculous and stupid approach of empowerment. In fact, this is not an empowerment. I don't know what and why they are calling it empowerment. Empowerment is not in dishing money into in form of handouts. Empowerment is into creating employment, like giving employment opportunities, empowering the small and medium enterprises by giving them incentives, making sure that a business that if Nick Mzalendo, if you have started this work or TV station back in Kenya, how many people are you going to hire? And then what is the trickle down effect? The trickle down effect, like you've hired 20 people. These 20 people, you pay them salary, and then these people have to commute to work, right? They pay transport, they have to eat, like lunch. That means mtu wa chapati mandondo is also getting. Mtu wa chapati mandondo also have to go and buy mafuta, has to go and buy kuni, and so forth. So that trickle down effect within the middle class, and the lower class is very important in an economy, to make sure that the production, that the increased production, Brother Benson was talking about, uh, that is how we can thrive. That is the true empowerment. That is how we can maintain what is called sustainability. The method that they are employing is not sustainable. It's short-lived. When you see people who are carrying money in bags to bring to certain women organizations, that is not empowerment. That is creating dependency to these politicians, so that tomorrow, once you eat what they have given you today, tomorrow you have to look for and struggle to call them to come and give you another set of handouts. So to me, I think this is the most ridiculous and insult to Kenyans. Mzalendo, why would I take from your business? I collect taxes. You pay those taxes. Myself and the president takes the taxes from you and takes them to give someone as handouts. How do you survive, or how do you continue being there and creating employment opportunities for others to survive? The other thing is infrastructure. The government ought to increase in terms of infrastructure, social amenities, recreational facilities, and for example, right now, I don't know why they concentrate in taking small contribution to Homa Bay, when they can actually connect port to port, good infrastructure. Why do we still have trailers stuck at Maimayu, going down to staying there 2-3 days, while they are transporting goods that are supposed to either increase production, or goods that are supposed to be delivered and to circulate, for money to circulate quickly, and the accidents, the number of accidents that are there. Why do you think it is so difficult for them to make a straight road that is going to go through elsewhere, and have that small road down there that is causing traffic and delay in business? So these people, I think what we are seeing in Kenya, in the history of Kenya, is a show off of how many car chases do you have, how many bags of money did you carry to a funeral meeting, how many lies did you how many propagandas and lies did you say in either any meeting? That's all we are saying. The true patriotism is that patriotism that we saw, like that of Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, when he was called and told to be the president, and said, no, I'm not going to be the president until you release Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. And he stood by his words. The true patriotism is that we saw of people like Michuki, people like Michuki, who turned against their own communities and making sure that they are fighting impunity and restoring sanity in the transport industry and in the security industry. That is the true patriotism. All this that we are seeing now has no interest in the public and the people who are here. And to crown it all, Mzalendo, the empowerment is not about empowerment. It's actually a distraction of the maandamanos, the protests from the GNCs that was scaling up by trying to digress and create a decoy where people are telling them, look, the government is coming to you. The government has goodwill. The government has created a program where they are going to empower you. But in actual sense, it's not an empowerment. It's digression from the protests and uncertainty and lack of satisfaction of the governance of the current government. So it's not about empowerment. It is a distraction from the people who are tired and who wanted to oust William Samoei Ruto out of office. But by so creating this is a decoy of distraction.
Okay.
Well said, Mr. Ame. I know you don't mince your words. Uh, I also have a take on this, and this is very very sad because this is a PR exercise that is being done in broad daylight, and they ensure that the cameras capture everything that they are doing. Plus, the members of parliament, you didn't mention how they are turned around to show their butts and to dance in front of Farouk Kibet. This is pathetic. It should not happen in a country where people have gone to school like Kenya. This should happen in countries where people have no education at all, and don't know what they are doing. So when you see leaders coming with bundles of money to give out to groups, first of all, how are these groups selected? Who is doing the vetting in an area like Kisi? If you go to Nyamira, how many people, how many women groups will you give sewing machines, or how many boda bodas riders will get those motorbikes? So this is something that first is a conflict of interest because we have got lenders like the banking institutions that are supposed to give loans to traders and to people who have got who can come and apply through a vetting process that the bank staff are trained to look at somebody who is able to get money from them. I think the money that they are carrying, they need to put it in banks so that these lending institutions can offer training to these groups and lend them money. And at the same time, that money circulates. When they borrow, they pay it back so that the banks can also give other people the same the money in form of a circulating fund. But now, when you give money, we don't even know where this money is coming from. Where is this empowerment money coming from, Brother Ben?
I don't know. Maybe you can ask the people who are doing it. I'm not.
Viewers at home, I can see Geoffrey Ongero, Benson Kennedy, Rafal Sagi, Brenda Obedi, Solomon Baraza, Macmillan Ina Ahmed, Leo Nyabaya is the king of empowerment. Leo, tukuja tuambie hii pesa mnatoa wapi?
Is ambassador.
He's the ambassador of empowerment.
And
Kuja
Mzalendo,
tuambie.
how do we then comply with the anti-terrorism and money laundering policy, which actually requires that all money should be channeled through the bank to avoid the circulation of dirty money in the market. You know how?
This is it's called tokenism. Yani tokens being given to in form of bribes, and to an extent mpaka kuna mahali wanalipa school fees ati empowerment. Leo tunakuja kuwalipia watoto wajane school fees. Man,
And,
manze, Kenya hii tuko
no,
na shida. Mi
uh,
nawambia tu okay, sawa. Ruto ako na makosa mingi sana. Hebu niambieni, kuna kitu ingine Ruto amefanya vizuri ile tunaweza angazia hii serikali yake?
I always talk the truth. And let me say, in terms of sports and stadiums, he's trying his best. That one, me spendai kuongea uongo. And so far we can see what he's doing in terms of sports.
I like
We
the
have
honesty, because I don't want this kind of skewed argument whereby we are criticizing the government, but yet we cannot talk about the good things that maybe the government is doing that nobody is seeing.
But Mzalendo, we cannot praise misplaced priorities.
Yeah, this is misplaced.
The stadium, in when you put down the priorities, or rather the needs assessment of the Kenyans, a stadium comes way far, and stadiums can be built by not only the government. We have institutions that take money from the people and are required by the law to give back to the society. Uh, Institutions such as Safaricom and many others can also pitch in when it comes to stadiums. But what benefit is a stadium for me in Nyamira if if I cannot afford the basic necessities, if I cannot afford food, shelter, and clothing? Why do I need a stadium? Think about it like this, Mzalendo. If the government is spending 5 billion or 100 million to build a stadium in Nyamira, what about if this government took an initiative of identifying businesses in Nyamira, for example, give them what is called incentives in terms of licenses. Instead of paying, if you're hiring 50 people, then you are not going to pay the business licenses. If you are paying if you are able to hire this number of people, we are not going to put you on this tax bracket. So this will increase the number of employees, and these employees in return will actually pay taxes that the government will collect. And through those taxes the government will collect, they can so easily build the stadiums. The issue of stadium is an insult to people. And let me tell you, the stadiums are not actually, in my view, it's a way, it's a conduit to swindle money from from treasury. Because remember, despite the fact that we have a broken or a government that is not functional, we have very strong financial, not strong, but we have structures or frameworks in place on how money is channeled from treasury to projects. So the only way you can take or you can get a budget of something is you start something new. Why do you want us to start something new when we have old projects that are stalling?
All
Why
right,
not complete?
all right, Mise. All your thoughts there. Maybe the PS will just answer you in a minute. I have a video here. I'll let you play. Watch it.
As the PS for internal security, I sit in the steering committee that is organizing and that is going to oversee the event, of course, together with the support and leadership from CAF. We are satisfied with the security arrangements that we have put in place. We are doing this in a multi-agency format. We have representation from the Ministry of Defense, the Ministry of Interior that I belong to. We are also working with the private security sector players just to ensure that we have enough numbers, but also we are able to share intelligence and information so that then the whole coordination becomes foolproof. So first of all, we expect that there will be huge numbers of Kenyans as well as guests from across the continent and the globe will be coming to attend these games. And with huge attendance, there would be the potential of having the challenge of managing the crowds, whether what normally happens in events like this is there's a potential to have a stampede. And what we have done is that we have developed elaborate protocols working together with CAF. There are specific guidelines with designated barriers that makes it easy to control the movement of people before and after the games, but also in between the games. It's an ongoing training for the stewards so that then they are better equipped to be able to work with a huge number of crowds that we expect. But then we've also made provisions for emergency services, the ambulances, the healthcare professionals, so that in the unlikely event that we have any accidents, both on and off the pitch, we'll be able to get response in reasonable time.
Wow, that was your PS, Raymond Omolo.
What did he say?
Hmm?
I didn't hear anything. He said that we how
You
look,
want me to play for you the video
no,
again?
no. Let us be objective.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear him talking about how businesses are going to benefit. He's talking about security and protocol and all that. How are businesses going to benefit? How someone in Nyamira going who is not where there's not this magnitude of a stadium going to benefit as a Kenyan who pays tax, who is a taxpayer, who contributed to the to the building of this stadium. So Mzalendo, there is something, let me tell you something. There is something inherently wrong with our country. What is the how many times is CAF going to bring the games in Kenya? How many times? After how long? Okay. How many Kenyans that have jobs will afford to attend the games? It's just like my home. Let me give you a quick example of a stadium. In my home, the Nyamira town where I come from, we used to have, when I grew up, I went to Nyamira Primary School. And this is where the stadium was, where people could come, from Kisumu, Kericho, to come and play games there. But they took a stadium from Nyamira and they took it to a village in the name of upgrading Nyamira to have a stadium. Guess what? That stadium, nobody goes there. Okay? But how much money was put there? Okay? While it's a good priority, while it's a good when it's while it's good to have a stadium, but was it urgent and important to build a stadium out of the town? Towns grow from inside, to outside, not from outside to in town. Nairobi did not grow from Kibera or from Ngong to the CBD. Nairobi grew from CBD to Westlands to other parts of Nairobi. And that is how towns grow. So
Mhm.
this is a good thing that they are building stadium, but how many people, how much money did they invest in this stadium? How much money are they projecting to make out of these stadiums? And how much money are they projecting to invest in maintaining these stadiums to be in good standing and in good condition until the other games will come for them to be used?
Let me look at sports is business, and I'm a sports person, and I know the importance of a stadium. You might be looking at it from a different angle, which I agree with you that if you build a stadium in Yamira and you don't plan for it, then definitely it will be lying idle there. But when these stadiums are built and maintained properly, first of all, they bring revenue to the country. One, if there is an event that is being held in any part of Africa that is closer to Kenya, what it means is that the teams can come and train and camp and train in your facility. When they train, that brings the revenue to the federation that is organizing football and to the government. Now, there are also vendors who come to these particular stadiums to sell those people who sell njugus and all that, those people, when they find 10,000 people in Goosey Stadium, they make money out of it. If that stadium was not there, they would not have made that kind of money. So when you look at stadium, look at the people who are doing the grounds job, the people who are maintaining that particular stadium. They are paid to maintain the security in that stadium. They are paid to do a job. It creates an opportunity, and by and large, it when organized properly in counties in conjunction with the federation, it also creates opportunity for our youth so that they can thrive and grow their talent in good facilities. That is the importance of stadiums. And stadiums are not only for playing soccer. People also run on those stadiums. Stadiums are also for national events. In case you don't have a stadium and you have a celebration, as maybe a gospel artist is coming or maybe a musician is coming, you can have an opportunity to take them to your stadium. So you don't look at a stadium that okay, it will not bring anything. It is something that you might not see, but when there is proper organization at the county level and the proper utilization, then these stadiums are going to be very, very profitable to the counties. That's how I look at it. Yeah.
Mzalendo, that is actually a very good view of it, and I'm aware of that.
Yeah.
But tell me, how much money does Nyayo Stadium generate every year? How much money do we put in terms? Do we set aside in terms of maintenance of Nyayo Stadium vis-a-vis the number of events that go there
Yeah.
that are actually people pay for? How
Let
much money do we have City Stadium? I think they were building City Stadium for something else, but look at Kasarani. How much money do we put to maintain it? The whole idea for me, the stadiums are good, you know, but if you have your order of priority, um, there are other things that you can invest into they can generate money quickly. And out of that money that is generated, you can now put into other things that will generate money on short term, without necessarily being in a rush of expecting to generate money. For example, Mzalendo, let me ask you, before, we used to have, if you
Let
remember.
me answer this question first before you go to the next question, because before I'll forget. You asked how much does the stadium bring in. For example, you come from the Kisi community. When Shabana is playing Gor Mahia in at home, and their home Gor Mahia's home stadium is Nyayo, for example, Nyayo or even City Stadium. So when they are coming home to play Gor Mahia, that day the gate collection for Gor Mahia or Shabana, they will go home with probably 3 million or 5 million. Same to Gusti Stadium when so this way the clubs earn money and they pay their players through this kind of revenue. So when you look at it on every other weekend, there is a match that is being held, and fans are coming to the stadium to play. Then there are players who are being paid with this kind of money. You don't. The issue of health is a different thing. The issue of education is they're all different sectors, but in a society we must all grow at the same time. There are people who are talented in sport that the government needs to nurture those kind of talents. There are people who are good in academics. Then there is the Ministry of Education that needs to look at the school infrastructure. And if you go to the health department, although nowadays it's devolved, then the counties need to look at the health facilities. Each and every money that goes to each and every department, even in the county, Misa, if you go to the county where you come from, the money that is coming from the national government, each and every amount is allocated to various functions. There is disaster management, there is health, there is sports development, there is infrastructure development. So those things are there. So
Yeah.
Mzalendo,
yeah.
as I would like to agree with Mise, I would also like to have a divergent opinion on the issues of stadiums. For example, let's take if Kenya had the sufficient stadiums, like we say, eight Nyayo stadiums in all the counties, like we say Kisumu, Kisumu and Eldoret and Nakuru and all these places. We could be the one only hosting Chan. We could have not divided the Chan between the three countries. We as Kenyans, we could host it very easy. And when you host this Chan, just know that the people who are coming, they are coming with delegations of people. They are not just going to come alone. It's not just 11 players. They are coming with, like yesterday, I was listening at how many delegations are coming. You hear they have a delegations of 40 people. So if you have a delegation of 40 people, you need to give them a place where they are going
Sleep.
to have to a hotel where they are going to be staying. On top of that, there is people who are around there who need to provide food for these hotels, and they need to provide manpower for these hotels. And if we had also these stadiums in the counties I was telling you, like we have like 10 stadiums, we could still be having people who are the kids who are being used for, let's say, for example, ball boys. We could be having people who have been given work for maintenance and looking at maybe the cleaning, the grass, and everything. And also, these stadiums could have also opened for infrastructure, because you cannot have a stadium and you have a road which is only you need maybe a dual lane, so that you can be able to reach to the stadium because of either congestion. So when we are looking about stadiums, they are a big thing in our country. I agree with Mr. saying we should prioritize on the things that are affecting our country, but we cannot also stop looking at sports, because sports is also a fabric in our society. And after this CHAN, we are going to have the AFCON. And AFCON, this CHAN is just coming 19 teams. What about AFCON? AFCON is coming more than 20, I think 30 teams. So, for example, let me ask, if you had 30 teams of 40 delegations, you see how many people will be coming to the country and how much revenue could have been left, because if we were hosting it as a country alone, like just the way you can go and check at the Ivory Coast World AFCON, the one that just happened the other day, you could have seen that when they were hosting the AFCON, so many things were the cities which were there outside. They
Jose,
were,
please, as we finish, answer Gypsy Corner. Can the stadium be used as classes for learning?
you know the problem is we are taking everything and putting it all together in, what you said, there is systems, every there is education sector, there is health sector. I was talking, you asked me a question, what can we say Ruto has done? I
Mhm.
answered you. I told you he has built the sporting. You can see the sporting activities is happening. Football was banned during Uhuru time, or you don't remember? It was banned completely. Do you know how much money we were paying to go and host our games in Uganda? How much money were we using to go for the qualifiers in Uganda? Because all the games were being played outside Kenya. How much revenue are we leaving in Uganda? If our stadiums were up to task, we could have not been going to Uganda to leave revenue in Uganda. We could be hosting the qualifiers in Kenya. But now, because the stadiums were not in good conditions, we were forced to go and pay money to Uganda so that we can be able to host our games there. Imagine if there is other countries who don't have good stadiums, like the countries near us, and they need qualifications. They could be coming to host them in our country, and they could be leaving revenue in our country. So about sports, sports is another fabric that's supposed to also bring money to the table as we are continuing. The problem is, and I believe when you have these stadiums, you have had, even when you are being shown that video, you still need healthcare system to be correct, because you cannot be having a stadium and you don't have a health facility which is supposed to cater in case of any emergencies. Do you imagine somebody is being transported from, maybe we say from, we have a stadium in Eldoret that is being airlifted to Kenyatta National Hospital? No, we could be having level 5 hospitals or level 6 hospitals in these counties, so that they could be able to facilitate in case of emergencies. And also we could be seeing things like emergency firefighting emergency cases. They could have been building these things, because when you build a stadium, it comes with all these benefits. I am in a country which has been built because of these things. They have built these stadiums, and the stadiums have been able to open up so many things in the country. So I think that sports is also another fabric in our country that we are supposed to be serious on. And the problem is, the government concentrated in one county, in Nairobi. I think these stadiums were supposed to be distributed across the country. That is the problem. I think that is the major problem, that we cannot feel the trickle down effect. But if you had these stadiums in some counties, maybe you say like 10 of the counties. If you had a stadium in Kisumu, I think the people near the region could be having a trickle down effect, I think. So, but for the priorities, we need to focus on every priority. Not one, all priorities are priorities. Sports is a priority, and it has given our youths some, like Shabana. There's players playing in Shabana. They are coming from Kisii region. There's players playing for Gor Mahia. They're coming from certain regions. So I think we cannot leave sports behind us. We are talking about priorities also.
I think we all agree. We all agree that sports are very important. That's why we have a ministry for youth, I think, and sports and something like that. I don't know if it was separated, but my wife used to work in that ministry sometimes back. Um, what to me, I'm looking at Mzalendo, and this is what I wanted to say before you said you needed to say something. I do recognize the importance of sports and how sports can be used as a tool of generating revenue. But all I'm saying is there are things that are top priorities for the government, for any government to do for their citizens. Number one is education. Healthcare. Number two is education. Now, if you look at, and I wanted to ask you this question, Mzalendo, because I know you were living Nairobi at a time when Kibaki came to power. If you remember those days, I think you remember number 44, number 45. Do you know which route those numbers go to?
They go to Githurai 44 and Githurai 45.
Good. So in other words, it's thicker road, right? So
Yes.
do you guys remember that before thicker super highway, nobody wanted to leave Githurai? Nobody wanted to be associated to come from that side? Mzalendo, you are on mute. You're on mute. If you remember very well, it was very, very cumbersome to leave that side of thicker road. But as soon as thicker superhighway was built, it became very easy to go or to leave, and even that area expanded so fast that people now can easily live even in Thika, in Juja, and come and commute to town every day so easily. What about this, Mzalendo? And this was my question to you. What if we have the caliber of Thika Superhighway from Mombasa to Kisumu, connect port to port, right? How many tribes along the way will benefit from that infrastructure from Mombasa to Kisumu? How many tribes along the way will be beneficiaries? Now, you think about it. Look, for example, you spoke about a stadium in Kisii, for example. When Shabana, they don't play every day. They play once, maybe a month or quarterly. That is when they use the stadium. That is when the stadium becomes meaningful, and that's when the stadium generates revenue. But how many people die every day? How many students are getting kicked out of school because they can't afford tuition fee? How many accidents are happening along the road because of poor infrastructure? And if all of us took that money and put it in the infrastructure, that will the easy movement of goods and human and other services, it will generate extra money that will help us to go for extracurricular activities. And that is where sports belong. Now, that's why I'm saying that if you look at, for example, the road from Kisii town, for example, let's look at Kisii. Kisii generates a lot of money. Number one, because of a lot of people who are in diaspora, a lot of Kisiis are in diaspora, and they send money back home, and they generate a lot of money. Mzalendo, I was surprised that if you go on during December or every other weekend in Kisii, you'll be surprised that someone spends like $1,000 or $2,000 on alcohol, right? Now that tells you that there's circulation of money. Now, why wouldn't the government give incentives and open up the infrastructure? Because for example, the road that goes to Kisii is a two lanes, very poorly maintained, has never been expanded, but there's a lot of revenue that is being generated here. So if the infrastructure opens up, maybe more revenue will be realized and generated from this place. So the government is not looking and having their visibility study to ensure that they know where they can generate or collect more revenue in order to pump into the national budget to redirect to other things. So that's why I'm saying this, the government of Ruto is doing good to build stadiums, but maintaining those stadiums will be an uphill task because the stadiums alone may not generate enough to be able to be maintained to the standard or to the required standards. And of course, in the future, we might be benefit from it, but at the moment it wasn't a priority. When a student who is sitting for their form 4 exam do not have, or class 8 do not have money to pay for examination, but the government has money to build stadiums, what kind of irony is that? When
Uh,
people are
mhm.
dying of cancer and other diseases, the government has money to build stadiums and not pump money into healthcare and other health government insurance to ensure that there's good health and protection of life and property, and you say that is a priority?
Yeah, you see, Mise, stadiums generate income to the government, uh, and uh, and stadium attracts advertisement. Stadiums are, you saw at one time, there was a controversy. Nyayo Stadium was supposed to be changed to Coca-Cola Stadium, and that was a lot of revenue to that, to Nyayo Stadium and the management of sports in Kenya. Now, Safaricom, when you see Safaricom branding a stadium, they pay for it. They pay for it monthly, to put your advertisement there. When TV stations go to capture those games that you see on those stadiums, they pay what we call rights to air those matches. That is how revenue is earned. You need to know the whole structure of how revenue is earned through those particular stadiums. And don't mix health sector and education with sports. These are totally different entities. And if you know, Kasarani Stadium was built by on a loan from the Chinese, I think, or the Japanese. That was a loan that was given to the Kenyan government. So stadiums will be there. How they maintain them is depends on the private sector coming in to invest their money there, because there are players who play in those stadiums. There are athletes who practice in those particular stadiums. And let me tell you, because I've been in soccer for a while, I know the importance of a stadium. If a team like Brazil is coming to play somewhere in let's say Egypt, a friendly match, and Egypt does not have good FIFA standard stadiums. No, they have only one stadium that they are going to play, which is their main stadium. But in Kenya, we have got very good training grounds. The federation in Brazil will pay the government of Kenya a lot of money to just come and train before they play their match. So Kenya can be a sports tourist destination. That is something that also earns money to the country. So those are some of the things that are not really emphasized properly by the government for people like Mise. and Gypsy Corner to understand the importance of the stadium, but they are equally
No,
they're equally
Mzalendo, look, we have to, there's something called competence. Kenya has been doing very well in agriculture, all right? We can invest money in making sure that we have proper irrigation schemes, proper
Thank you, Miss Emise.
farming.
That's a very good point. Just hold your thought there. Now, uh, do you know where this is? Do you know where that 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 is? So, as much as you are talking, there are some things that are going on in this government, or the government
But
has been doing.
Mzalendo, before you
Where is
continue,
that?
don't give credit to this government. This is Gulana Kulalo. It started a long time ago.
Yeah, yeah, it started a long time ago, but now we are seeing the fruits
So
of Gulano Gulano. Yeah,
no, Mzalendo, this is not what this is what I was trying to say.
yeah. This is this
That
is this,
that
this is
that that
this.
hold on, Mzalendo.
Mm,
That look at Muhammad Gaddafi, you know, and I'm sure you have read his book called The Green Book, right?
mhm.
Uh, his country was a desert or a semi-desert.
Yes,
And where did he get the water from? He ran pipes throughout the country. He made Libya green. But look at our country. Some parts of our country are privileged. They get rain. For example, in Kisii, we have rain every day, right? But what do we do? How has the government intervened to make sure that we have proper treatment of the waters that is collected, and we have fresh lakes? Look at Lake Victoria, look at Lake Naivasha, these other lakes that are there. Why are we having problems with water? Look at Luo. Look at Luo. When it rains, there are floods. How can we collect that water and turn it into something meaningful that we can use for our country? Look at the parts of the country that are dry. What has the government done to redirect water there so that they can make sure that they have food security, enough food security? In terms of, look at, for example, Uganda, for instance, is more stable when it comes to food security than Kenya. So the problem that we have here is that our priorities are upside down. The money that we use, if we lay down
you
the
you
pipes, if we
you
lay
know you.
down the pipes, for example, let me tell you, Mzalendo, my mom used to work, we lived in Naivasha, and my mom used to work for a company called Pan Vegetable Progress Company, which was producing flowers, vegetable, and processing it and taking it out and send it out of the country. And then we lived around prisons. Prisons every every weekend, we used to go to prisons up there, go get nice fruits there, and oranges and other fruits, pears, and so forth. Why would we suffer and have food insecurity when we have institutions that can help us raise enough and cultivate and have enough food for the country to sell and to export? And then now we can come to other things that we don't understand, and we are not better off when we have actually exhausted what we understand better, like agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
Tell
Hello?
me,
I think Missy has a very good point.
Mr.
Because Kenya is supposed, Mzalendo, Kenya is supposed to be food sufficient, because we have all the capabilities. Why don't we even, if there is places which are semi-arid, why don't we build
where is that gulano thing? Iko pande gani?
Iko in the is it in the northeastern
It is in a
areas?
dry area. It
Yeah,
is
it is in a dry area.
in
So
a
why have
dry.
we not tried to do so many gulana kulalus in the country? Because that gulana kulalu, even when
I think sometimes you sometimes give credit to where it's due, and this is something that I saw, and I said this is a good step towards food security.
when did
And
you see it in Zalendo? Because me, I saw it long time ago. This thing
no,
was
I didn't. I didn't.
was
I
there in
didn't.
2016.
I saw the initiative by Uhuru Kenyatta, but I never saw any production by Uhuru Kenyatta. But I'm
No, there
only
was
seeing.
production in Zalendo you never followed. Go and follow. This
I
production
didn't.
started a long time ago. But
I
now
And
the
didn't see
problem
any.
Mzalendo
is, what
knows
is the
that.
government doing? What is this government doing apart from Gulana Kulana? What have they started? We can say they also need to start another Gulana Kulana for
And
themselves.
and
I'm just.
and Moto Anzambe, we have a president who is who's well versed in terms of it was good knowledge in agriculture. You know,
Yeah, true.
someone you would expect, just like when we had Kibaki, who was good in economics, right? He did something, and the country, got back to its feet when it came to the economy of the country got back to its feet. Now, what we are saying, Mzalendo, we have never had even the president. When we were young, we had Moi every day, and you can attest to this. Tulikuwa tunaamka tunaambiwa mazao, kilimo ni nguzo. Tunasikia kwa radio, kwa TV, kwa kila mahali. And we knew that agriculture was very important, and even through songs, right? Right now, we have a government that has people who are labor ready, but they don't have anything to do. Let me tell you something. My wife went to National Youth Service. She's a beneficiary of National Youth Service. She didn't pay any tuition fee, but she paid through labor, through when they go in there, they are posted somewhere. Wengine wanapelekwa mahali wanalima kulima, and then they come back after some time. They take the course they choose. Why is the government not utilizing that? And let me tell you, when my wife finished her course from National Youth Service, do you know what happened, Mzalendo?
Mhm.
She got a job immediately with Ministry of Youth. Okay?
Mm.
And it was very easy transition. And I'm wondering, why is the government not using this avenue, making sure that they take people, they volunteer for some time, invest money in youth service, okay? And after investing money in youth service, and say, we are going to give you or pay for you if you go and volunteer 1 year, right? Anything that is there that needs to be done, volunteer 1 year. After 1 year, you are eligible to go to any other course. And then when you come from there, you are the first priority to go into or to get any employment opportunity. This will encourage the culture of volunteer in our community. When I grew up Mzalendo, tulikuwa na chief ambaye alikuwa anapiga firimbi, na wamama wanaamka asubuhi na wanaenda wanasimama mahali wameambiwa. Kama ni barabara wanajaribu kutengeneza, kama ni kufyeka wanafyeka. Why are we not using?
Mister,
Yeah,
the problem is what?
yeah,
The problem actually is we have governments that come and they want to do their own things. They don't want to follow up with what the other government was doing. We had a very good system that was brought, even if you say Uhuru was bad and everything. We had a good system that he had brought, the 4-point agenda. You remember the 4-point agenda? What was it talking about? It was talking about health, and agriculture, and I don't remember the two, but health and agriculture were there. Why did Ruto come up with his own policy? Instead, first, he could have come and utilized the ones that were there. After utilizing that one, and seeing that it is now okay, then you can start to build yours so that when the government come in next, can also come and take up from where you left. But we have a governments that come and they don't want to continue with what was being done by the other government, which was good. Unajua, unapoangalie serikali hiyo ilikuwa inafanya mambo gani mbaya na mambo gani mzuri, but when you come you rubbish everything, unasema si mzuri. Now I was asking Mzalendo, why did Ruto not come up with another Gulana Kulalu? Why do we have
yes,
people being told that we are going to be importing rice? Mzalendo, for heaven's sake, how are we importing rice when Uhuru came with Vibadam? Vibadam was supposed to give 2 seasons of rice farming in Kirinyaga, and Kirinyaga can be sustainable for us feeding the Kenyans if we have 2 seasons. Why are we talking about importing rice, importing onions, for heaven's sake? That is why people are angry. Wewe unakuja unachukua mpaka agriculture where we can be able to do the small things. You want to import them from the country neighboring, and you see what they are doing to us, Mzalendo. They never take us serious. Ndio unaona mpaka wanatuambia we are going even to chase away your traders. We are going to do all the sorts of things. Why have we not seen even the government coming and rising and saying, kama mtafanya hivyo hata sisi we are going to stop your importation of your items. But if you are doing that, but if you are the one who is doing these things, you are importing these things from the outside countries and you are bringing them and you are getting some money. I think you cannot be able to stop this. But Kenya is sufficiently able to feed its people. The problem is the systems are not there. The people only ask the Ministry of Water and Irrigation. Just put for us, set for us boreholes. We'll be able to farm. They don't need any other thing. Set for us boreholes, give us good seeds so that we can be able to farm, help us to get fertilizer in cheaper means. That's the only thing. They'll be able to farm and they are going to be able to sell their produce, and in turn, they are going to be able to pay school fee for their children, and you are going to be able to get the money you are saying for sure. But now, if you are importing things from outside, how will people even be able to pay that share you are talking about?
it will be difficult. And Mzalendo knows Mzalendo. You know, the incident of the Jamaican. Okay, you know the story of the Jamaican where the importation of onions to their country, it was cheaper to buy an imported onion than the locally produced onion. I'm sure you have watched the documentary called The Debt. Okay? Because the governments make it so difficult for us as local farmers to succeed, because the government, the people in the government have interest. They're the ones who are doing this business. And therefore, they say, you know what, go to hell, the local farmers. We are going to bring the ready-made things, and we are going to force you to buy them. So that's why we are saying, if Ruto has goodwill, he would have said, let me go to Kisii, for example, or let me go to Rift Valley, or let me go to somewhere else. Let me build something like this. Let that one of Kenyatta or whoever started, let it go, because it's functional. Why pump in, or why ride on someone's project and not yours?
Did you know that we import eggs from Uganda?
Exactly.
Imagine it was even a shame we are importing milk from Uganda. Sometimes I don't understand our country.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you think about our country, sometimes you get angry.
It is corruption. That is what it comes to. It's called corruption. There's corruption in the country. That is why you find it is cheaper to import some of these things than to produce them locally, because the locally produced commodities are more expensive. The locally produced maize or rice is more expensive than the one that is being imported. So it's a cartel that needs the government needs to come in and
But
fight that particular cartel. It is a cartel.
Mzalendo, who is that cartel?
It's the
Who is the
government.
Yes. So then, that is why our fingers will always point towards the head of the government of the time. And you and me had very high expectation of this guy. I remember, Mzalendo, we went everywhere campaigning for this gentleman, and we had very expectation that he was going to transform the country and make it look. Did you know, Moto Wanzambe, did you know that Kenya is the most technologically advanced in Africa?
Yeah, it is the most, because even why are they bringing UN? You cannot take UN to a place which does not have a technological hub. That's why you see them bringing even UN in Kenya.
Did you also know that the internet in Kenya is way better than the internet that is even in Canada? Mzalendo, did you know that?
Zeleno does not know that.
So if we have these opportunities, we have not seen the government that goes out there. Look at the way India Mzalendo works. The idea of call centers. We have seen that Kenyans are very talented. We have very good internet infrastructure. Has the
You know,
government taken an initiative of building ultra modern call centers and come to a country like US, Canada, or China and say, look, we have people who can speak very good English. We have people who have got who you can train so easily to conduct your customer service. Why don't you give us this business? Because India has negotiated with India, Philippines, Thailand, have negotiated. And that is why, Mzalendo, your phone bill, when someone is calling you, like for example, my phone bill, when I have not paid, I get a call from Jordan and I live in Canada, right? Why hasn't the government, instead of the government telling people go out to look for jobs outside the country, why hasn't the government taken an initiative to take advantage of the technological advancement that we have and negotiate with other countries to get jobs like call centers? If we have jobs like call centers, right? If let's say financial institutions, 3 financial institutions gives you about 1,000 clients, and then they are paying you, they are paying one person, maybe at the end of the month, they are paying that person about maybe $1,500. How much money? And then you pay, when you take all the overheads, and then you pay this person $500 USD. Still, people, that will be another easy source of employment or creating employment opportunities. Why hasn't anyone thought about this?
yeah, I think it's something that has been always in the pipeline, that the government wants to do everything, wants to do some of these things, but who, whoever is in power probably does not know, or the people like the guy who is in IT right now. That guy is called Kabogo. I don't think he has got any clue of what is supposed to be done in that particular sector. and that is communication sector. And the reason why companies are moving to Asia for customer care, outsourcing those jobs, is because they are ripping them off. They are paying them peanuts in Philippines and in Nigeria. That is why companies in the US and in the UK and Canada are going to those countries. I think Kenya is also one of the countries that provide those particular services private companies here in the US. Zico, it's not
Mzalendo,
like
can I
it's
ask
not
you a
there.
question? Can
Mm.
I ask you a question? So if
Yeah.
you are saying Kibogo does not know what he's doing, who is the problem? Is it
Hmm?
Kabogo or the appointing authority? Who is the problem?
I think that you know, if I give you a task to do, you have to have some cautious and moral authority and morality to tell me that, hey, hii kazi unanipatia, I can't do it, give it to
No,
somebody else.
Mzalendo, this was a very simple question. Answer. Stop,
Hmm?
stop evading this very
Mzalendo
simple
anapiga
Wait,
question.
dume.
if I wait, Mister,
Mzalendo, if,
Mister,
if,
listen. Let me ask you,
yeah.
Mister, if I
Mm.
employ you today as a doctor or to add the medical field, and yet you've never had any training in that particular field, would you accept the job?
No.
Why not?
First of all, how would you employ me in that field if you didn't look
No,
at my
would you
resume?
accept you? You just said
Did,
no. Why did
did you
Kabogo
did
accept?
you no, the question is, did you look at my resume to find if I have requisite documents for me to be in
Thank
that
you.
field?
And you guys, you seem not to know where you how things work in Kenya. One, for somebody to become a CS, the names are taken where to Parliament. Yeah,
But who is the appointing authority?
the names are taken to where?
Who is the
But
appointing authority?
how
How can you appoint somebody who is not
What is the
authority?
work of Parliament?
Mzalendo,
What is the work
Mzalendo,
of
how
Mzalendo,
can you
Parliament?
come and appoint somebody who does not know how to operate this life?
Let me ask you,
Even
what
though
is
we
the
are going
work
to
of
come and get
Parliament?
him here.
How many names have been taken to Parliament and been dropped?
okay,
So,
Mzalendo, the question is, who is the appointing authority?
I have asked you a question. How many names have you seen
We will
so
be happy
Mzalendo,
to
we
answer
did,
the
so
question,
Mzalendo,
Mzalendo.
listen, one minute, listen. So the president will be bringing people he does not know if they have the
I
candidate,
have
so that
not talked about the
parliament can be
president. I have
vetting.
not talked about the president. I have asked you a question. How many
No, you
names
know why I'm talking about the president Mzalendo? He's the appointing authority.
I have
That's why I brought him in this conversation. He's the appointing authority.
he recommends, yeah, that this is somebody I have and blah blah blah. Then the names are taken for vetting in parliament. Then the parliamentarians pass these names. Yeah, see that's the procedure. Is there any
Mm.
other
Kama
procedure?
hii ni kampuni
So
yako Mzalendo,
Mzalendo,
kama hii ni kampuni yako unadhani hivi Mzalendo ingekuwa imekufa.
Mzalendo,
Hivyo
so
ndio
you are
nimesema to
agreeing,
leave everything for the
Me, I'm
board of
asking you
directors
if that is
to
the
vet.
procedure.
Mzalendo, so
The company will be dead.
you are agreeing
Huh?
so are you saying the appointing authority is Parliament?
Parliament, Parliament has the final say.
Parliament vets.
Yes, it has the final say.
Parliament has
Now,
no the final say, Mzalendo. The president has because he has said to that. He's the one who has said to do.
let's go back,
Okay. Why do these
Moto
names?
Wanzambe, let's
Why?
go back when Gachagua was being impeached, right?
No, I want. Forget about
No,
Gachagua. No,
no. It's
I
Mzalendo
want
Parliament.
to
is
know
No,
being
the
done.
procedure.
it's same procedure,
I
Mzalendo.
want to know
When he
the
was being
procedure. I want
impeached,
to know the
hang on,
procedure of
let me say this first.
Mm,
When Gachagua was being impeached,
mm,
we saw Dr. Mr. Onyonka came out and said he would not take money, or the members of parliament and the senators were coerced and were
mm,
told they were told if they don't comply, Their lives were in danger. Now, in that context, who is the appointing authority?
If they
Who is
don't,
the appointing and vetting authority?
can you repeat what you just said? Onyonka said what?
Onyonka said that
you are quoting him. Okay, whatever he said, maybe it's true, maybe it's a lie. I don't want to dwell into that.
Mzalenda, have you started
I
getting
want us to dwell in facts.
But even if Mzalendo, if Mzalendo wants to talk with facts, Mzalendo, we have not just come from Jerusalem or heaven. We know how parliament works. We know who is controlling parliament. We are in this country. We know everything that is happening. Unajua mtu ametoka kutoka another country can come and say umwama kuingia.
Nimewauliza tu swali, if we had a functioning parliament, this person would not have been given a job.
But we don't, because it is being controlled by the person I'm telling you is appointed.
That is the thing I was telling you. There's some a president can decide that today my son, I want him to be the CS of a particular thing of a particular institution. Then if you have a parliament that just rubber stamps, then we have a problem there.
So that's why I asked you the question,
problem or the parliament?
That's why I asked you the question. The appointment of this guy, who is the problem? That's why I asked you that question. We are talking about this guy. How will you say again parliament and you have said it has been it is under the reign of the president?
Mzalendo, kama babako ni dikteta. Mzalendo, kama babako ni dikteta, aende alete bibi aseme Mzalendo, huyu ndio bibi nataka uoe. Na unajua kama hautaoa huyo bibi, huyu babako atakunyima privileges. For your best interest, will you or will you not marry that woman? Mzalendo, ni kama siku hizi umeogopa tangu usikie watu wanakuwa abducted na wanafinywa. Siku hizi unaogopa kusema ukweli.
My stand is always the same. Listen, I have told you, I have just giving you scenarios where I find that your arguments are skewed towards a particular direction. And
no,
you don't look at
honestly, Mzalendo, this is what we are saying.
Speaking, don't mistake me to be a Ruto supporter. I want you to look at things objectively. And I want you to look at
we are objective, Mzalendo. You're missing our argument as well.
No, your argument, I'm missing it. I'm missing it because you want to look at one side of the thing.
No, here is what we are saying.
You are looking
look at it from our perspective.
You're not looking at parliament.
No, look at it from our perspective. Okay. Yeah. Right now, we are talking about three arms of the government. We have the executive, right? The legislature and judiciary. And these three arms of government are supposed to have what is called separation of powers. Now, they are supposed to work independently, make their decisions independently without any being coerced by any institution or arm of government. But as you know, and that is where we are not agreeing, right now, the judiciary, the legislature, they have been consumed by the executive. Who appoints most of, or who makes the decisions that are greater and influential in these three arms of government? Usually it comes from the executive. But in your view, you are saying if the judiciary, or rather the legislature, decided to do their job as they are supposed to do, then we wouldn't be having a problem such as Kabogo being in a docket that they cannot handle. And you're right. You're absolutely right. But we are also telling you that because of undue influence from the executive and and threats and coerce people being coerced and micromanagement, then the legislature, people are and abduction, the eminent the outright abductions, people are afraid. If you are in the Senate, if you are the one who is trying to oppose what the executive is saying, then your life is in danger. Then why not rubber stamp what the executive wants? Are you seeing that? Do you remember how Alfred Keter was treated?
Yeah, I remember how. I
Listen,
remember. I
Mzalendo,
have just to. I have asked you a question. You have answered my question that Parliament is a body that approves the appointment of.
Mzalendo, let me ask you a question, because I'm now going to bring it directly now how it's supposed to be. Uh, what do we say in Parliament? The majority has the way, and the minority has the say. So the minority comes from which party? Where do the minority come from? The majority, I mean. Where does the majority come from in Parliament?
It comes from.
The ruling party.
It comes
The
from
ruling
the ruling
party.
party. Yeah,
Yeah, and who is the head of the ruling party?
the president.
The president. So when you bring these things to the Parliament, how do you expect that you're going to not support the ruling party that you're in? First of all, the person who is the majority leader has just come from the party that is the presidential party, and he's supposed to bring government bills into Parliament. He's supposed to support government procedures in Parliament and everything that the government is going to bring in Parliament. So when they have the majority leader and the minority whip and the majority whip, where are they going to whip their members? They are going to whip their members so that they can vote accordance to the party lines and
What
accordance to the president.
what I wanted to tell you is that there are so many appointments, recommendations by the president, and not even one by William Ruto and even the former president that have been rejected by Parliament. So
Mzalendo,
when one is
Mzalendo,
when one is,
Mzalendo,
yes.
you are assuming that let's go by what Oburu Odinga just told Sifuna. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
what did he tell Sifuna?
He said that Baba has got the final say.
Baba has got the final say,
Yes.
and he
When he
said
says
Baba
we go
is the
left,
God.
we go left. Yeah.
Yeah, Baba is God of ODM.
Baba is not God.
No, that
Don't
is
say
no.
that.
In the words of Oburu Odinga,
Baba
okay.
cannot be God.
No, in the words of Oburu Odinga,
Mm-hmm.
of course we know Baba cannot be God, but he gave an equivalence. All right,
I
saying, say,
Mister, you are right. You are right. Baba. I want you to look at.
so here is what I was saying before you make me forget
Mm,
that if Baba is final,
mm-hmm,
is the final word
mm,
in ODM, which is not the ruling party even, right? Then we would also be right to say that um, William Ruto is the final word in UDA and in his government. So if he says this is what he wants, that is what he wants. That's what he gets. That is our argument, that whatever it takes for it to be done, it doesn't care. It will get it. And
mm,
that is symbiotic relationship. You're forgetting of symbiotic relationship as well. That everybody. Let me tell you, Mzalenda, I was once the president of Kenyan community here,
mm,
and I learned something from even these small posts. When I was the president, when I had the office, man, people from different people used to value me, okay? But
Mm,
one day when I resigned, the people who used to look for me or even talk to me or call me, I've never heard from them, Mzalendo.
right.
People have a tendency of aligning and giving allegiance, their allegiance, to people who have authority, power, and influence and money. So right now, whatever William Ruto asks for will be given to him. And that is what is happening. And that is why we have people like Kabogo. Kabogo was brought there strategically, either because of his money and also the face of Kikuyu, so that William Ruto doesn't look that he has rebelled against the central people by impeaching Gachagua. So he was brought there strategically, and therefore that needed to be done by fire, by water, or by anything, and that will be done by people. And you rightly, in the initial stages of this conversation, you said corruption is an impediment to any development in our country. So if you are called Mzalendo today and told in your TV station, all I want you to do is to sing William Ruto, William Ruto, the since morning up to evening, and you are given 5 billion or 1 billion, will you not do that?
Mm.
Will you not do that, Mzalendo? If it's me, I will do it. 1 billion just to wake up every morning and say Ruto ni baba, Ruto ndio mweza yote. Will that be difficult for me to do? That is what happened to those members of parliament and the Senate. They were given money. And even Onyonka said that some of them who were against or who did not want to receive the package, they were threatened, and their lives were, they said that some of them came out and said, do not kill me. You know, don't forget those ugly scenarios or unfolding scenarios during the impeachment of Gachagua. Even when you ask Mtuse now today, he doesn't know what the impeachment was for.
Now, you brought a very good argument, and let's close it by saying that if you have a functioning parliament, then we'll have good CSs. If you have a functioning parliament where we have the position playing its role, then the president cannot get his way. And if you have a good judiciary, then also the presidency cannot get his way, because they are the ones who are holding the line on the other end. So we have seen all this, whatever you are saying, that the president has got the powers. We have seen rejection of people like Aisha Jumwa, Linturi was rejected at some point. Monica Juma was rejected. At that time, Azimio was acting as the opposition. So we have seen that in parliament. We have seen that even if you are the head of the state, you cannot get your way all
No,
the time.
maybe the head of state
Even
never
even
wanted them anyways.
even in where I am today, getting the speaker was a problem. And it had to be a lot of lobbying, a lot of negotiation, even to pass, and some of the appointments too. So most importantly, if you are the head of state, you will select a team that you believe will deliver for you, not a team that you believe that they will deliver for the opposition, a team that will deliver for the people of Kenya, people you believe in, that these are the guys I think will deliver for me. Whether you are he is wrong or not, that is up to him. So we will judge him at the end of his term. Watu wale aliwapatia kazi walifanya kazi ama kufanya. That is how it works. It does not work any other way. That is
Yeah.
the
But Mzalendo, you're
that's
forgetting
how
one
it
thing, eh?
works. Yeah.
You're forgetting one thing. You're not going to look at the CSs. Eh? The buck stops with the president. That is what will happen. We are going
Listen,
to ask the president.
back you cannot blame it
Nowadays, Mzalendo, do we talk about this? Do you even remember the CS for gender in Uhuru's government? Do you remember who was the CS for gender? Do you remember
was,
who was the CS for water? We don't remember them. We remember Uhuru as if he failed or he did not fail. That is what we remember. And we are going to remember Ruto.
why do we remember Michuki? Why do we remember it's called Matiangi? What are you talking
Because
about?
there
Why
is
do we
sectors that you cannot
remember
forget. And all those those people you are naming were where? They were near the presidency. They were ministers of
it doesn't
interior.
matter.
Those ones we remember them.
I
We
have
cannot
just
forget
given
them.
I've just answered you. It's not sometimes about the president. It is sometimes about the
I'm telling you the backstop to the president, and that is what
no.
I'm telling you. And you will see. We are going to be saying about Ruto's government. We are not going to be. Do you hear saying Michuki's government? We say
No,
Kibaki's government.
I
There is
am
no way you hear
you are
them saying
giving
Michuki.
example. You are giving example. How the stories I hear about Mitsuki is that he did a good job in the transport sector.
Yeah, but
It is not
Mzalendo,
Kibaki who did a good
Mzalendo,
job.
you are selectively answering this question. The thing is, the government that we have is the government of Ruto, not the government of any other person.
All right, guys,
So,
let us wrap.
what we are saying, Mzalendo, that at the end of the day,
Mhm,
Ruto will either be charged harshly or
mhm.
Ruto will be celebrated for having put together a team that actually delivered according to his manifesto the things that he promised the people of the Republic of Kenya. So we agree that sometimes you can have people whom you think that they will deliver for you, but they let you down. As the president, who and the commander in chief, who is the mouthpiece and the symbol of unity of the nation, you have a responsibility. You have the power to fire and to hire people who are going to deliver according to the manifesto that you gave people. And that is why you are there as the head of the nation. But if you fail and you give a blind eye to the people to the people or your friends that you gave the mandate to deliver or to advance your agenda, then at the end of the day you will be termed as a failure. It is true that there are people who will deliver at the end of the day and they will make a name for themselves, but not because you are monitoring them or micromanaging them, but because they understood the job and they had the requisite knowledge to deliver the job. What we see here when we are referencing Kabogo, he is one person probably in the wrong docket. Maybe Kabogo would have been nice in entertainment. You know, look at someone like Alfred Mutua. As much as people criticized Alfred Mutua, I look at a few things that I remember about him. I remember Alfred Mutua to have redirected the traffic from Nairobi to Machakos. I remember Alfred Mutua, through his leadership, he brought to Machakos what is called Kenya Institute of Advanced Technology, which actually is, when you look at the institution itself, you would think that you're in Washington D.C. The way the street lights are well,
Yeah.
the road, the flowers, the marking of the pavements and all that. You remember that is a good leader who actually understood, despite his weakness, he understood the assignment. So Ruto ought to be looking and evaluating his point men and make sure that they're delivering according to what he wants to be what he wants to be remembered for.
All right, Miss, thank you very much. just one last question, and I just need an answer. I don't need an explanation. One final rapid fire question: who is your presidential candidate for 2027?
Um, I'm not. I'm undecided.
You are undecided.
But for sure, not William Ruto.
Thank you very much, Mise, for being part of this discussion this evening. We hope that you will make time and be with us next time as we discuss these important things that are facing our country. And you had it, viewers back at home, shoot a comment. Who is your presidential candidate for 2027? I want to read those comments here on Africa 24. Even as we wind up, it is almost morning. These guys have been here for hours, 3 hours. Me say thank you very, very much for taking your time. You need to catch some sleep right now. I also need to go to bed. But if you've been watching us from some parts of Europe, like Gypsy Corner, asante sana Gypsy. Gypsy, one last question. Who is your presidential candidate for 2027? Gypsy, I need your answer. Gypsy, I need your answer. Who is your presidential candidate for 2027? I need your answer on the comment section. Asante sana Gypsy for being part of this discussion. If you didn't step up, Mary, I don't know what happened. We sent you a link au kujitokelezea hapa kujana na kupambana na hao wangwana. What I've been trying to do this evening is to try to gauge where we are, because most of Ruto supporters, they don't step up. They're too afraid to ask a question when they face people like Mise here. Step up, come and ask them question. Tell them, Ruto is doing ABCD kule mashinani na hey, Anjili, wewe unaingia sasa, tunamaliza but
mtoto wangu
ingia
na
tu.
kugonga.
Utagonga nani tena? Angela, hello.
Good
Who
night,
ana-
Mzalendo. Wacha nilale, but thank you for having me.
No. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for being part of this discussion, Mise. Nimeshukuru sana 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 sana. We have had
Asante.
very wonderful show, and next time make time ukuje. Watu wameenjoy shows kabisa.
No
Ah,
problem. Thank you.
yeah, asante sana. Good night. All right, guys. We have had a very wonderful show this evening, and thanks to my panelists who are on the other end, Gypsy Corner, those who are still watching us, Peter Chelule, asante sana, Nelson Mafula, Maclean, Ina Ahmed, assalamu alaikum, asante sana Ahmed, and make sure that you subscribe to Afrique 24. Solomon Baraza, please do subscribe to Afrique 24. Rafael Saji, please do subscribe to Afrique. Geoffrey Ogero, asante sana. Make sure that you guys have subscribed to Afrique 24. And our only one and only commentator who keeps us asking the hard questions on the comment section, Gypsy Corner. We love you. Thank you very much for being part of this discussion. And of course, Brother Ben, who had stepped out earlier because of early morning work. Asante sana for being part of this wonderful discussion. Kama kawaida, this is Mzalendo, and today the topic we have discovered a lot, and a lot of stories that are being told in the corridors today they have come out to the light, the issues of the stadium, the issue of appointment. This has been your unfiltered truth, live from Afrique 24. Thank you guys, Brother Ben, who had dropped earlier. Asante sana. And to your audience back at home, tunashukuru for you for staying with us, loud, bold, and woke. I am Zalendo. Until next week, don't be lied by sound bites. Follow us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, follow us on X, and please keep subscribing, and let's keep the fire burning here on Afrique 24. Don't forget to invite your friends too to come and watch what we do here. Sometimes whatever you don't get on the mainstream media, you'll get it here on the social media platform. This is where we say it as it is. Hakuna filters kwa hizi discussion tunaongea. Tunaingia pale serikali inafanya vizuri, tunaangazia hapo, tunaona tunawaangazia. Mahali inafanya vibaya pia tunawaambia hey, mambo ya abduction, mambo ya killing should stop immediately. We don't want Kenyans to lose their life just because of politics. Otherwise, thank you very much, and see you next time. I can see we are having jokers. Not decided. Angela Sindani, we are having jokers. Usijali, next time tutakuwa na hiyo discussion hapa. Jokers ni kina nani? Tutakuwa na hiyo discussion hapa next time. Naona hii siasa kuna vile inachanganyisha kidogo. Kuna vile inachanganyisha our opposition. They need to get their act together very very fast. If they don't get their act together as soon as yesterday, nakwambia Ruto atawakanyaga. Mimi siwezi wadanganya, I don't cheat. Mimi naambiaga to the politics the way it is, raw as it is. If they don't get their act together very very soon, have one voice, be united, talk together, watembee pamoja kama kitu moja, sio wengine wanatembea huku, wengine wanatembea huku, wengine wanasema. They need to speak in one house, and if they are not going to uh, speak in one voice, then kutakuwa na shida. Gypsy Kona unauliza, are you meeting Matiangi? Yes, I'll find a way of reaching out to Dr. Fred Matiangi. Matiangi amesemekana yeye ni mchapakazi. Matiangi is a technocrat. I don't think he can make a good president. Mi naangalia, and even if he becomes a president, atawakalia ile kuwakalia. Maybe Kenya needs somebody like that. I don't know. You at home there, you will tell us where unataka mtu wa kufanya kazi streamline mavitu, ama wakalie kuwakalia. Nyinyi ndio mtasema, ama mnataka Maraga. Maraga seems to be a nice guy, nice decent guy who will stream things. And there are also people who are talking about Wamunyoro. Hebu kujeni hapa mniambie kama Wamunyoro atasimama. Kama hatasimama, then he needs to stop wasting people's time, and uh, and uh, decide to support and put the house together. If Wamunyoro is not running, he needs to put that house together or decide ni nani atasimama. The person seems to be serious is Wamunyoro, tribal, but I am thinking of Maraga. Yeah, The person, yeah, Mamnyoro is serious, but ile yake sasa, unajua the problem is Mamnyoro is that now Mamnyoro against Ruto will smash him asubuhi na mapema. Hiyo naye ni na kuhakikishia hiyo Ruto atamshinda, because people will now take the tribal angle that it has been. The problem in Kenya, mjue kitu moja, people don't like the ping pong game between Kikuyus and Kalenjin. Wakibadilika hiyo ndio shida. Hakuna mtu atawaambia hivyo, hiyo ndio shida. So ule mtu atajitokelezea ati anatoka Central anataka kuwa president in 2027, that is X. Mkale ule anajitokezea kwa ati anataka kuwa president 2027, hiyo pia ni X. People want change. Sijui mtaelewa hii kitu namna gani? Yeah. Watu wanataka change, watu wanataka, wamechoka. Watu wamechoka kiasi. Wewe kama uko pale hujachoka, mimi nakwambia watu wamechoka. Na Maraga anatembea hizi Maraga anatembea will be joining Ruto, don't be surprised. I don't think Maraga has got a conviction. Maraga will never. Ungesema anatembea, but people like Maraga, Gypsy kona hapo umeniangusha man. Gypsy Maraga no. Maraga hawezi join pande hiyo ingine. Maraga do you know Maraga said Maraga did not just come to politics ati anakuja ati asimame. Yeye aliambiwa enda usimame na hao vijana, enda usimame mzee. He doesn't even he doesn't even look like a politician. He doesn't even talk like a politician. He just talks like somebody when given the job will do the job. That's why people like, and he is honest. Yeye anakuja na milioni yake mbili peke yake 2 million 2 million peke yake. Yaani yeye ana budget hata mi hata nikisimama MCA bwana, hiyo ni pesa tulitumia tulitumia sijui na miezi ngapi 2 million peke yake ndio ana budget 2 million. Hata MCA Maraga hata budget na 2 million. Yeye amekwambia yeye ana 2 million peke yake, 2 million ana 1 na akizidi tena 2 million, akiangalia mali auze kitu atakuwa na 2 million ya kusimama. This is the most honest presidential candidate. But do Kenyans elect people because of honesty? The answer is la hasha. Wakenya tunataka a lot of civic education, a lot of civic education. Show imekuwa moto sana, wacha tutaongea zingine kesho. I have been your host Mzalendo, na kule nyuma pia tulikuwa na Gypsy Corner. All right, thank you very much and good nightini wangwana, and I hope mumesubscribe